see. La, 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 la. Okay, let's see. Go over here. Bam. Oops. Bam. 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 Oh. Let's get that out of there. Okay. Oh, that can't be good. Okay. From bad to worse. Impossible. Oh, that woman's one jumped out the. Jeez. What up, real raw? Well, I just built an RC plane tomorrow, launching it. Prop. I'm guessing prop plane. You're not going jet, are you? Ain't got the finances yet to put a couple of jets on that thing. What is it? Is it a kit? What's the kit? We can look it up. All right. Actually, oddly enough, I'm looking for the video now. I lost it. Hopefully I can find it. It was going to be about flying planes. Prop plane, lipo batteries in the first person view. TBS Chupito. Bam. Okay, Team Black Sheep. Nice. Is that it? So is that just a phone? Oh, that's the camera in the front. I'm guessing, and prop on the back, rear prop. What's up, John? Dow's hitting down at 100. Yeah. Well, 110, 1,110. Yeah. Thanks for last night. You're welcome, Lucas. All right, let's see. Okay, so rear prop. And then front camera. All right, that's what it looks like. I don't care, Georgie. You've done bored me with the Angela stuff. Rear prop, 2,000 kV. Should be amazing play. Yeah. Not bad either. $80. That's a nice price. Entry, low barrier to entry to get into RC flight. That's good. That's really good. Man, when I was a youth, you weren't spending under like $800 to get in. Like you were building, you had to shrink wrap, you had to use balsa wood to build out the airframe and everything. You had to heat shrink the plastic to set all your controls, dial everything in. What up, Spruzelberries? No, the camera's 240. Yeah, the camera's freaking 3 times the price of the plane. My dad makes super affordable FPV kits and only 40 bucks. That's really good. Down to $40? This is 79. I'm guessing it doesn't have a motor in it. I didn't see a motor. Flying wing, but that's cool. That's pretty cool. The forbidden butt plug. Fly it right up your arse. That's funny. I can't believe I didn't see that. I'm usually pretty minded like that. A kid with motor electronics. What's up, William? The forbidden butt plug. That's funny. DJI 03 or 04. Okay, so that's for your crossfire. Includes it's flying Chupito. Carbon fiber spars, glass fiber motor, and camera mounts, metal hardware. Cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else they got. The Chupito. Fly it like you stole it. What's up, OG Kicks? Don't show this page to Iran. No, it's not a drone, Grundle. It's a RC remote control. Crossfire Nano receiver, drone receiver. You could probably set it up. I mean, if you had the optic system to work with it, you could probably set it up. I'd be killing. The Mojito, it's another one. Mojito. I wonder what kind of range that factory camera. I don't think it had a factory camera. I think you had to add one in. Using Air Force is not using Air Force is not speed of defense because you will lose more numerous without the target. It's my first time hearing about 110th grade. Well, welcome, my brethren. Welcome. So I never graduated high school or college, and I spent most of my years learning stuff autodidacts. I learned a bunch of stuff on my own, and I figured I'd start a channel. And January 10th was my birthday, 110. So I called it 110th grade, and then here we are. So I have fun and education, comedy, education, politics when it gets rough. Pop culture. I'm trying to brush up on my black English. Hello, I'm going this round, spread the good word of the Sonic the Hedgehog. I've heard of him, Carl Rancho. Thank you, brother. Thank you. There's the flying mojito. Yeah, that's much more beginner style. Same thing, nose camera. That's pretty cool. That's way more. Oh, that's got to be with all the electronics in it. $189. Servos, 2 for $30, 40 for 35 bucks. And then the electronics package. That's probably the engine controls and whatnot. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Kill him. Kill him. I'm not gonna help you. Trump wants your medical records? Yeah, probably. Don't they already have them? And here's one thing actually that I saw that was pretty cool was was it 23andMe or yeah, I think it was 23andMe. The CEO was in front of Congress not too long ago, and they were saying like you have a bunch of minors DNA, genetic data, and like the government wants to know what's being done with that. Like imagine having a company that collects genetic data, and then so now you know what maybe could cause allergic reactions or other reactions in people. And if you were an asshole, you could work with like the big food companies and say, hey, this additive is more likely to cause runny nose or congestion in a big chunk of the population, which would up how often people visited the doctor to look for, if you wanted to, and then invest in like antihistamine companies and whatnot, knowing that spreading something like this would cause a big chunk of the population to have non-allergic type they call it non-allergic rhinitis, like runny nose, like type stuff. And then if you know that, this is just one, for instance, then you could buy in antihistamine companies, talk to the pharmaceutical companies, they could come up with the latest and greatest antihistamine, and then as this gets distributed out to the food industry and goes around, people start having more runny noses and hacky coughs and whatnot, and say, oh, you need this new pill. Buy me an RC Boeing 747. Yeah. Those ain't cheap. Those RC people are geniuses. I agree. Yeah, that was crazy too. The Fauci thing was nuts. Why are you gay? Why are you gay? Have you heard about the guy who got murdered for 23andMe? Took a test, got a match. Okay, yes. He got caught as a murderer. Yeah. Not saying people should murder, but yeah, 23andMe shit is creepy. It's definitely creepy. Yeah. So if they, this is what's interesting. If they would have asked him about things, the pardon that he got goes from 10 years, I believe 10 years before the pardon was written. So it goes back in time 10 years up to any crimes he may have committed for the previous 10 years, even though it's not like you already committed a crime and you're being pardoned of it. They're giving them a pardon for things that he may be caught doing. That's what Biden gave him, a pardon. But it only goes up to the day the pardon was written. And so the only other thing that he did after Biden left office was he lied in Congress during the Trump administration, and that's what this was all about. I mean, there's parts that I saw. So because he's not under the pardon on that, he can plead the fifth. But if they asked him about stuff during the COVID times and whatnot, he can't be charged for it. But and also he can't plead the fifth supposedly. You want to fight? Oh, come on, bro. I'd kick the dog crap out of you. You don't even know. I'm very strong, bro. Yeah, imagine pardoning in the future. Yeah, the really interesting thing is if you look at the diary stuff, how he knew that COVID was not anywhere near as deadly as he was representing it on TV. That's what's crazy. And what's crazy is he had data knowing that like the something they were calling horse paste, ivermectin, was actually very, very, very helpful. But you can't get a quick vaccine clearance on a vaccine if there's already an effective remedy. And so that's why they said it was like, even though the non-horse paste ivermectin, they would kept aiming towards the horse paste, don't take that's horse paste, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's crazy. Sounds like more like yeah. That's what it is, right? Because it's immunity is you not being able to be charged for crimes. Pardoning is you're being pardoned for a crime you've already committed, right? So that's what they did. Hand pink waving. Rich is more like the clone of my childhood friend Steve Dodd. I got stories forever from Steve. He told me about them. You want my blood? I don't want your blood, brother. Last night was great and spent it with you. I'm still having trouble. One. Thank you, P. Thank you, P-Roll. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I am Leonid of Sparta. Mortal Kombat. Bunch of pure bloods. Yep. That's right. That's right. And I don't think people realize how bad I think they're going to in the future, in the next probably 6 months or so, they're going to realize how absolutely bad it was. There's a very interesting thing that happened in the past 2 days, yesterday and today, where 30% of people, the way that Trump talks about it is deep state people, people that are non elected people, unelected people that were hired by previous administrations, even far back to like Bush, are still in the intelligence community, and 30% of that hunk just got fired, so or let go of or whatever. So I think a lot of information is going to start coming out about a bunch of wackadoo stuff. Lil Peep, hey, play it. Save. I took both vaccines. There you go, John. Okay, really. Yes, brother. Respect, brother. Steve Dodd had a badass Chrysler letter car collection. Have a good night, brother. Have a good day, brother. Good. Need to find the others. Yeah. What's crazy is how we have separation of power in our government. Like the judicial branch doesn't override the other the congressional branch or the executive branch, and they were overriding, saying, no, you can't fire people that work under you. And then, like, because that takes a long time while it's going through the courts before they say, no, what are you talking about, judge? You're a judge. He's the freaking CEO of the country. It's freaking crazy. Anyway, let's find something cool to watch. All right. Let's see what I can find. Let's see what I can find. Hold the line. Surprise attack. The downfall of some chicks. Stank attitude. The discovery of copper. Never come back. Blown motor. Damn it, where is that? Oh, man. I can't find the freaking video I wanted to watch. I tried to tag it, and I must have double clicked it to liked and disliked it. Not in my list here. Anyway, don't matter. How's everybody doing? Ranger, 11 months ago. Stores closing. New York. Fraud. Scams. Oh, here he was. Here it is. Here, I can find it here.
You're not allowed to do.
Set. Boom. I think this is it. This is definitely it. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Here it is.
So again,
a small seaplane.
Okay, here we go. Should we have age limits for presidency no over 62? Yes, dude. Yes. Yes, absolutely. John, if you hear these Biden tapes, have you heard? I don't know where you get your news, your info and stuff, but these Biden tapes have been released, which are the guy that was writing Biden's ghostwriter recorded the conversations with Biden. Dude, he was so much worse than the media chopped up. He seemed bad, like mentally unstable, mentally declined. And dude, he's 50 times worse than was shown on TV. Late night sandwich. Yeah, they're puppets. I think the only thing, I think one interesting thing that's going on now is the people that were running the presidency, especially like during Trump and during Biden. I can't know for sure yet, but after seeing the first Trump presidency and after seeing the Biden presidency, you could tell that they weren't being run by them. But now 30% yesterday, or I think it was either earlier today or yesterday, 30% of the deep state, the non-elected officials that run the intelligence community have been fired. 30%. So that's a huge amount. And these are the people that probably have been running the country. And if you look through like that crazy crap where like this one woman from the FBI was saying, I'm running a shadow government. And that's crazy. And that's still, we also don't know what's real because, they could be like, look at these idiots out here thinking that the Democrats or Republicans actually dislike each other. Rich was like Steve Dodge doppelganger. Biden's son has been doing press circles. Yeah, it looks like he's going to run. What's up, Robert? That who's running the country for 4 years? I mean, I guess we're going to, hopefully, I would like to find out. I think it would be pretty interesting. But I think it would break so many things if we found out that a lot of laws, rules, and regulation that was, I guess it wouldn't really matter because as long as it's signed by, like, just like a contract. If I write a contract and you sign it without reading it, you're up. You're the one that's being held accountable because you signed it, right? So if you have all these people that said, hey, the companies and stuff that think that we can make billions of dollars if you tell everybody this, tell everybody the world's going to end and they got to buy solar panels. But wait a minute, let me and my company and our trusts will buy as much stock in American and Chinese solar panel companies and solar panel sales companies. Then they come out and say the world's going to end, buy solar panels. And then as it goes, as people start buying to try to do their part to save the world, the stock goes up and up and up and up, and they make a bunch of money. That's a step above lobbying. Howdy, live. Stay out of our nation's America. Yeah, well, stop killing your freaking people. I saw a little bit of it. I can't stomach that stuff. Drinking beer, monkeying with cars, smoking weed. Like the enter the king of the hill. Göbekli Tepe, look at Turkey's world's oldest snow monumental temple complex, dating back 20,000 years, and it's pretty freaking spectacular. What's very interesting is that they won't dig anymore. Like the amount of Göbekli Tepe that was uncovered, they won't continue to dig. Apparently, only like 20% of it has been exposed. I would love to see what else is going on there, and I would like to know why they stopped it, why they stopped the excavation. Well, we were once I remember fish. I was not a Rhodian fish. Oh, pish. No, I don't even know what that is. She said she was celibate, that she got sick of it, decided to go out and give a bit celibate. 6,000 and 8,000 years ago, they laid down the law. What if the trend quickly stitched? Which trend, Brother Hall? Smoking some boom hair. Fauci pleaded the fifth over 100 times. Yeah, it was so stupid. It's so obvious, too, especially if you stop listening to American news and start looking at other countries' news and use a bunch of translate to go through their documentation, you'll see like the shit that they did to like raise the death numbers. Like definitely in America also, but you can't trust the American media. And so, like, the way that they said, if you die with COVID, you died of COVID, like the way that they counted that as the primary cause of death when people died of other stuff. Turkey had like 4 major civilization empires the last 2,000 years. Nobody knows what's underground. Istanbul and Constantinople. That's right. F. Fauci. Agreed, brother.
Plane crashed near an island off the coast of Washington state and burst into flames, but incredibly all 10 passengers and the pilot survived.
Whoa. 10 passengers and one pilot walk away from a crash near Seattle, Washington. What are the details as we know them? Well, it was a de Havilland DHC-3 seaplane, a float plane by another name, on its way from Lake Union to, not to Susha Island, but to Roche Harbor. It ends up crash landing at Susha Island. I'll explain.
Yeah, listen, one of them, everybody that has a friend group, everybody should have somebody that's spending a couple hours a week looking into medical issues and whatnot of all of your friends. Be like the friend's medicinal person. Like look into, don't just like, then when you go to the doctor, you can say, well, I think it might be this or that. Have someone that's the best at that, do that. And also have somebody that's the best at politics, not the most political, but the best at politics, to be able to dissect Republican and Democrat news, go to the primary sources and read that stuff through if you're interested, because voting one way is not going to work. It doesn't. You can see where we've ended up because we voted Democrat for way too long. And then now the Republicans are about to have a long swing. It's like, it's got to be, especially for states that have been primarily blue, need to turn purple. And like, I live in a purple state. I live in Georgia. And like them fighting each other keeps everything chill. But if it goes all one way, it goes nuts. Air vehicles go down every other day. A lot. Yeah. DI hires pilots. Yes, listen. And that's absolutely crazy. And listen, I heard a conspiracy theory that the reason they got DEI pilots and traffic controllers was because of the cartels wanted to be able to get more drugs and shit into America. I mean, it's just a conspiracy theory for right now, but it's pretty freaking interesting to say, oh, so say you wanted DEI stuff, but you only got people in if they were part of your crew, not because they were gay or black or whatever. Because remember, they would get white people if they said they were gay or whatnot. They were in that. So imagine if like when they defund or talked about defunding the police and then saying, okay, crime went up, so now we have to refund the police, but put DEI into effect, and then they only hire the people in that now are running a big part of the streets with the police force, are people that you got in, people that maybe didn't really know or train a bunch. They didn't really do good on their courses because they were shoved in there quickly and they moved through quickly. It's pretty crazy. I love conspiracy theories. Bro, Robert from, they're going to license Cracker Jacks. They're going to do what? Oh, giving away licenses in Cracker Jacks. Pretty cool BS filter. Captain Steve Juan Brown is the OG. You are funding the terrorist groups. You invaded Iraq, ruined it, and said it was a mistake by invading Iraq. Yeah, that's a completely different government, brother. Mohammed, you have to understand that we are split and fractured into three main groups in America. The Democrats have been primarily been the warmongers. And then now it's the Republicans because of how much money the Democrats have sent to those areas and what they have done because they primarily had their money in the war machine. I live in a shithole Metro Detroit. Damn. Yeah, it is definitely hardcore. New York City to run grocery stores. It's gonna, listen, this is the cash grab. I'll tell you how it works. Mondami's friends will be the ones building the grocery stores, getting the $30 million to build the grocery stores. The grocery stores will fail, but the people that built them will walk away with their money. Just conspiracy theories, another way of saying it's widely accepted fact in 15 years. Yeah, well, who's the ones that start the wars? Recovering cynic. I mean, until this year, but then this year also, well, I mean, this presidency, but Donald Trump was a Democrat until he ran for president. So it's like continuing the line of people who were primarily Democrats. Look through the history of Republican versus Democrat, who starts wars, who ends wars. Another one of my childhood friends was from Detroit. He was the toughest miffer I know. Noob doesn't like Israel.
Why here in just a minute. This airplane was leased to Kenmore Air Harbor LLC.
You talking about,
they've been in operation for a few years. It's not their first crash.
Mondami does lie. Yeah, so I thought I said does not. Does lie to his citizens. The people are fed up. Don't you understand what you mean by mentally ill Democrats? And one of the big problems is there's a lot of people here that need mental health care. And by lying because you want votes and they don't want, what they don't want to do is a lot of these mental health issues, they don't want to register them mental health issues because they don't want these people to lose their ability to vote. And so they've taken them under their tent and they're letting people delve into delusion, which is really, really cruel. Mondami is known to be for his people and not for the civilians. It's enough for his lies. He's not doing good for New York. He's lied to many people. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree. How about you say to the people that live in New York because they're going to tell you many things? Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people in and around. Remember, New York City is blue Democrat, but the surrounding area is purple and red. So but the city is most populated. New York voted for Tony President, right? R.I.P. New York. Yeah, it's unbelievable. If you look at the amount they pay per patient for medical care, per student for education, they pay like, I think it's 4 times as much than Florida, and Florida gets better results. I don't deal with it. Deal with it.
To that in a minute. Here's a picture.
Am I lying, recovering cynic? Am I lying? Or am I just coping? Help me out, brother. What's in this video? This is a DHC 3 sea otter. When should mental health diagnosis affect your ability to vote? Well, so they don't want it to. But if you're in delusion and they take that away, that's a big, huge group of people that can't. Okay, say yes, but tell me how. Tell me how. I don't want to hear just you're a liar, dude. Tell me how I'm lying. Tell me how I'm lying. Look up the number of wars that have been started in the past 20 years, filter through, and then tell me I'm lying again and tell me how. You can think of one war. I can smell the lot keys from, I don't know what lot keys are. What's a lot key? Latkes. Jewish. I'm not Jewish, dude. I'm not Jewish. I'm a skateboarder as a kid. I broke my nose like 12 times. But nice. I see where you stand, Nazi. Yeah, definitely not Jewish. 100% not.
Of the airplane or one of their airplanes. I don't know that this was the one involved in the crash, but it's got the Kenmore Air livery on the side, and you can see the big floats underneath. single engine turboprop airplane. And this is kind of an island hopper. They'll fly around, tell people on fishing expeditions and so forth. They've been at this for a number of years. It's always perilous trying to land a seaplane.
I'm part Polish. They have a potato pancake called a pierogi? No, that's Russian. Is it a pierogi? No, it might be pierogi. The tax rise in New York City secondary houses, not primary houses, with over 5 million pushed anywhere. Yeah, and I think what people are really, really tired of is like we should be working with bringing manufacturing back so people can make more money and move off of the dole, and then instead of the government constantly spending more and more money and then taxing the middle class, because when they say tax the rich, a lot of people in New York hit that. $250,000 per household is rich, especially if you have 2 people that are making $125,000 a year. And a lot of people in New York make more than that.
And I'll get into all the details on that because this is not the first seaplane crash we've had this month. There's been a couple of them already. All right, what happened? Let's take a look at the video because the video is very compelling.
Polish. Okay, pierogies are Polish.
And I'll explain as we go. Let's watch.
Someone is rich, so what? Right. And that's the problem when they say tax the rich, because and like I was a Bernie bro. Bernie was taxed the millionaires and billionaires, right? And now he's taxed the billionaires because he's a millionaire, flying on private jets and shit. It's crazy. I would have voted for him, and if the primaries wouldn't have went the way they did, and he didn't get because he was kicked out of the primary. Damn, dude, you have all the answers. You should run for office. I plan on it. 6 years. I plan on it. Keep watching, brother. I plan on it.
Comes from left to right. I'm going to stop it here in just a second. I can't believe he's doing this. Right there. All right. Now you see the seaplane coming in to full frame. He's kind of tipping to the left. I don't know if he's trying to avoid the island in front of him or what, but he's coming in real hot. He's very fast, and he's just in probably just above or in ground effect, above the water. Ground effect is when you get a little boost of lift underneath the wings, because the wingtip vortices that are normally killing lift off the end of the wing now are diminished so that you actually increase the amount of lift on the wing. Whether that's happening or not, we don't know. The NTSB is on the site. They're investigating this. They said they're going to have a report within 30 days. We do know, because we can hear it, that the engine is running. At least it's making noise.
Right.
I don't know that it's at full power.
So the DNC, how you say they're good with money and they're good with money. Okay, so the DNC, how do you say they're good with money and we're good with money, and whatever turns out they're broke and they have used their headquarters as collateral. Yeah, that's yeah. You get the tarred votes as long as you put an R next to your name in the ballot, brother. I think you may be in a bubble, recovering cynic. I think you may be in a bubble. I don't think you understand how many people are leaving in states that have that register voters by party. I don't think you understand how many people have left the current Democrat Party for either the Republican Party or for an independent or non-affiliated. And 77% of those non-affiliated are anti the way that the Democrat Party's going. That's why they left. Like I think you were in here yesterday when I said this. Pennsylvania had a 1 million registration lead, Democrat registration lead over the Republicans. Now they have a 50,000. So they've lost all those people. That's just Pennsylvania, blue ass Pennsylvania. I was blue. They lost me. If they don't win my vote back, nobody's going to be able to win my vote back on the Democrat side by saying Trump. Trump won't be running for office. Trump's already in office. He already won, or he bought it, so he's going to be in there. Unless the Republicans have definitely become more liberal. There's a lot of Republican voting liberals, and I understand that you're here, but you seem like you're here to fight. But just talk to more people. As soon as you start to run, I'll stop listening to you. Yeah, probably will. This bubble includes your channel, right? Well, I mean, at least you're getting my input from, and I'm not partisan like that. I'm a new Republican. From the movie industry, we were the blue of the blue. Our union basically forced us to vote blue. And now there's, instead of saying we've got to save democracy, they're saying vote your interest. Listen to that, vote your interest. You're going to start hearing vote your interest a lot more in old school lefty communications. Democrats go, yeah, that's a big problem. Please cite my source on what? That the Democrats lost. We can look it up after this if you'd like to. You can't blame for that. These folks have lost their minds. It's what it feels like. Yeah, right. But if you still want to be part of the process, at least the Republicans have become more liberal. Like with that, when, and I didn't see it until like last year. But after, if you have to, you got to stop listening to Fox News. You got to stop listening to CNN, MSNBC. You've got to look at your own sources. You got to listen, and it takes time, and it sucks. It sucks to do because we want the cliff notes. But unfortunately, the mainstream media's cliff notes are wackadoodle. Are you getting a lame duck in November? Well, probably. What's up, Sir Keith? Trump 2028, bro. I live in Laurel, Utah. I talk to people like you every day. Okay, who is a person like me? A person that got fed up and left the Democrat Party? That's what you're talking about? Yeah. Now, never vote Democrat. Welcome back, Sarah. Mainstream. Yeah, it's absolute puke. It's absolute puke.
My assumption at this point, if I'm trying to get this airplane down, is I've got that throttle pulled all the way back to idle. But they're coming in hot. I'll talk to you in a minute about why they're landing here, because we do have some details about that. In fact, we've got audio on that, so hang in there for that. But here they go. He's going to touch down.
I tell you what I thought was interesting. I thought it was interesting that, like, how I believe the Republicans were anti-trans people, anti-gay people, but now that there's trans for Trump and gays for Trump, it's like, okay, well, maybe I've been hearing something wrong, so let me start to talk to more people. And a lot of people, even in the gay community, trans community, aren't down with the pushing this on kids, and a lot of people think the same thing. The average person spends $30,000 to $40,000 a lifetime in medical care. The average trans patient that medicalizes will spend about $1.7 million. So it seems like a numbers game. Mainstream media is trash. Back to watching the Daily Wire and Turning Point. That's what you watch. No wonder you think that way. Republicans are so liberal, they want to let the American military join forces with the Israeli military. Is what's a joke. Yeah, I saw something about that, and then I saw some competing information on that said it's for data, like the spies and the satellite information will be allowed to be transmitted between the two armies. But I haven't looked into it much more than that. In the military, we call the planes puddle hoppers. Puddle jumpers, puddle hoppers. Mainstream media is Mockingbird. Rare U.S. military W.
Bounce right here. Oh, and hear it. He crashes into the rocks in front of him. Jeez. So this plane is semi out of control. We don't know 100% why. This airplane took off from Lake Union at 4:30 p.m. It lands, kind of crash lands here at Susha Island, not its destination, at about 5:15. We're told that the weather conditions were normal at the time. However, I'm going to put air quotes around that because the weather service was saying that a weather front had just moved through. You can see the clouds, and this kind of semi-squall line with thunderstorms in it had moved through just a few minutes earlier. That makes for blustery conditions. You can see that the sea state is not ideal for landing. There's a lot of waves. It's pretty choppy on the surface of the water, which again makes it challenging to land the airplane. Dude, let's continue on with the video because there's more. Watch this. There's the airplane with the wings broken. And you can see a boat headed in right away to help.
That's freaking kick-ass.
I'll stop it right there.
Towards that stuff.
So you can see that the wings are kind of broken. Now, when you ever see the wings broken like that, you can be pretty much assured that fuel is leaking out of the airplane. One of the things that the FAA requires of commercial airliners, these types of airliners, is that everybody, every passenger and the crew, be able to evacuate the airplane in an emergency in 90 seconds or less. Now, that's pretty ambitious. That's why they put so many exit doors on an airplane. And then the flight crew, the flight attendants practice getting everybody out of the airplane in an emergency, and they have to do it in 90 seconds or less.
It doesn't sound familiar. Galloping Ghost. It doesn't sound familiar. Remember the Malaysia flight disappeared? Yep, 380. Malaysia flight 380, right? You remember? We'll check it out.
Why? Because generally speaking, the crash itself is not the worst part of the whole incident. It's the fire, the subsequent fire afterwards. That's going to happen here. This is a small microcosm.
Right. So, and what I think it is, I think they're buttoning up their back end. I think now that so many people in the intelligence community got fired, they just laid off 30% of the intelligence community, like, and inside not bureaucratic structure. So what I think is anything that was done not so legally for the last 50 years, 47 years or whatever, they're trying to make that legal. That's my theory, but you know, who am I? Seaplanes or flying boats dominated before World War II. Yeah. We'll check it out. Brother Cyanide. They found it.
Of a large airplane. And why, my friends, if you come to a full stop and the flight attendants say, you know, evacuate, you get out of that airplane. You don't want your tray table down. You don't want to grab things from the overhead compartment. You want to have decent shoes on your feet so you can get out of that airplane in a hurry, because the fuel somewhere out there is leaking. And as soon as it hits something that's hot enough, it will ignite, and all of that fuel will erupt, and that airplane will burn up rather quickly. Right now, there's no flames. So it seems like, we got a little bit of time to get out. Get out of that airplane as quickly as you can. That first boat arrives on the scene.
Yeah, let me grab my charger. Where's my USB? Hold on, honey. Let me grab my...
The other boat where the video is being taken is on its way to help. This is great. There's always helpers around. Here we go. They're moving in right now. You can see people are already getting out of the airplane. They're kind of walking around by the door there, and there's some injured people on this airplane. So again, you know, do you sit there with them on the airplane?
No.
If you can, grab them, put them over your shoulder, get them out of that airplane. Why? You'll see here in a minute.
I'm guessing we're going to see here in a minute.
All right, see all that smoke up there?
Yep.
The smoke is right up here at the top of the wing. That's where the heat is coming from. Now, it looks like, you know what? No big deal.
Smoke,
they're in the water.
Fire.
It's probably going to be safe to take your time to get out of this airplane. It's not. All of that fuel now is going to find its way somehow to something that's hot. Here we go. People getting out of the airplane.
Nice and slow. I guess they're injured. I'm sure it's shaking up a lot.
Some people are walking onto shore, but look at this. See the flames already in the smoke? Here he comes around here.
Oh, thank God you guys are okay.
Okay, you can see the flames now. The airplane is completely engulfed in flames now. Everybody's gotten out. Some of the survivors are on the boat where the video is being taken. I want you to listen very carefully, and I'll interpret for you what I hear being said on the audio, because the person who's driving the boat asked them where they were coming from and why they ended up here. Susha Island is not their destination. This was an emergency divert
picking up weed
on the part of the pilot. They explain why they were diverting to Susha, but it's real hard to hear. So listen to this. Here it comes.
Where are you guys coming from?
Where were you guys coming from?
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
the person taking the video.
Come on, brother.
Where are you guys coming from? Listen to the answer.
Lake Union.
Okay, why are you guys stopping here? That's the second question. So where are you coming from? Why are you guys stopping here? This is not a normal seaplane stop. And he says something along the lines was there was some weather and the pilot was going around it. Something about landing.
Well, it's as good as it's as good at hallucinating. Actually, it might not be. It seems like politicians hallucinate more than freaking AI does, so that might be a better idea.
Here to let it pass or to avoid it. I'll show you a picture here in a minute of why the pilot picked this particular island to put the airplane down. So the weather, as we're hearing it now, the weather had moved through or was moving through, but between where the pilot was coming from at Lake Union and Roche Harbor, He had to go around the weather. At some point, he's going so far around the weather, he needs some time to let it clear. Remember, these airplanes have to fly VFR all the time, visual flight rules. They're not instrument qualified or instrument
not using
allowed
radar
flights. So they can't go into the clouds. They got to stay out of the clouds. So you can see the cloud layers come down real low. The weather's moving through. It's probably gusty. This pilot's thinking, you know what? I'll just put it down. Now he gets himself fast. It looks like coming in here.
Container on the corner.
Let's listen to some more of this. Says something about landing here to avoid the weather.
Oh,
See
the
some
flares.
explosions now. All right, I
wonder if that was the safety flares they had on that just went off.
Turn the. See some explosions now to avoid the weather. See some explosions now. All right, I'm gonna turn the audio down because there's some bad language here, and we've got kids that listen to this, but you can see the rest of it, the rest of the fire. All right, that completely engulfed the airplane.
Yeah,
that, my friends, is why you want to get out of the airplane. When
is it true that the IDF still controls the data centers across the country? Israeli defense, brother, I don't know if it's true or not. Yeah, I hear that they do and I hear that they don't, right? So is it propaganda? Is that, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't I hear about Israel a lot. They're not that big. So maybe we are just Israel 2.0 and all that stuff's on the inside. But it seems like the people that aren't actually like pro-Israel are a lot of the people that run these data centers. But that could all be freaking grift. That could all be bull crap. They, because they just say it to say it. And sometimes saying shit like that, do they not care about their investors? And some people, they only care about their investors. They don't care where the money comes from. So I don't honestly know. The pilot knows what he's talking about. I watch it. Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. I like him. Can AI be bribed with AI officials cheat digital porn stars? I don't know. America is the world's free meal ticket, except for America. We're the dumb ones. Yeah, I agree 100%. In the last, I'd say 6 months, if you spend a good, I'd say 4 hours one day, sit down and look at where does America's money go outside of America and how much money is unaccounted for. And then now that just one big program, USAID, was shut down, and you see how many other countries are changing their economics and changing their policies and political affiliations. It seems like we've been paying for a lot of shit. And for the amount that we've been paying, especially to Africa and stuff, they should be in a much better, health-wise situation. But then you start hearing about the wackadoo stuff, like accidentally giving the wrong HIV vaccine type thing to a bunch of people accidentally and giving a bunch of people AIDS. And then you start to hear the conspiracy theories that, well, you had to give a bunch of people AIDS so that you could see if the vaccine worked. What up, Mr. Pollard? What's the source? I forgot what we were talking about, brother. What up, Super Obama? China. All pilots know what they're talking about. They don't become a pilot if you all don't talk. Yeah, you would hope. You would hope. Yeah, listen. If I was president, if I got elected president today, okay, July 29th, I would say, okay, countries other outside of the United States, from today, July 29th, 2026 to July 29th, 2027, you're going to continue to get whatever we've been giving you for this next year. But during this year, we want documentation for anything and everything, and you will not get anything for the year following. During that next year following, all the audits will be done. We'll get results for all the programs for where our money's going. We want to see results. Whatever we don't see results for, whatever's going or seems to be hurting people on one political side or the other in other countries, we're pulling it all out. If it's not for keeping people fed and healthy, No, all that stuff's coming out. And then companies have to go in and say, how can we turn this area? How can we help set up an economy in this area? I think the government spending this so long has kept a lot of corporations from standing up, because you have companies that are sided with the government, especially, like I said, in the continent of Africa, that won't allow smaller businesses to come up because they want to keep all that money. And by letting the free market start to take over and develop, I think it would be a lot better most important. Yeah, definitely. If you look at how rich the leaders are of the very poor countries, Trump has turned a bootlicker. Yeah, it seems like it. We'll see. We'll see. Teach a man to fish, eats forever, right? So I agree. I mean, maybe that would be a thing too, but definitely for the money that's leaving America, without a doubt, we're going to see where all the money goes. And if it's not going to keep people alive and to help set up for thriving, if we're not getting results for the money, then if the money's just going into other people's pockets, then no, it's got to stop. Absolutely got to stop. And for that year, we could take all the money that we would be sending over to other countries and just do a mass sweep through the American states and fix up everything we need to fix up. Mass drug detoxes, mass prison reform, huge. We got to get the actual numbers and to see how things are spent. Absolutely. It doesn't seem that complicated, but the thing is, if you have mobsters and cartel guys and stuff that are getting ultra rich off of this stuff, it'll put a bullet in me if I recommend it. America's so corrupt, stop paying other countries. I agree. There you go. Lysergic. Boy, I spent some time with you. Visions. Those bribes may for you America's rich too. Yeah, definitely. Shouldn't we give more people drugs? More? Jeez. Then again, West isn't stupid. They know the guys give money to the wrong person as a result in their benefit. Otherwise, it would not be first place. Yep.
Flight attendants tell you to get out of the airplane.
And the interesting thing is, if you read through what they were doing with changing USAID, it was, we just want to know where the money went and what the results were. And people were like, oh, how dare you? If you win the presidency, I would be the head of FEMA. Done. Lysergic.
All of the flames right there, and it's a good thing they got out in a hurry and didn't stay put on that airplane, because now you got a worse problem. The fire is much worse than the crash.
Yeah, fire's
so 10 people survived. A pilot survived. This is not the first crash for Kenmore Air. Kenmore Air crashed in 2016. 3 passengers, 1 pilot on that airplane. All survived and walked away from that.
Wow.
Again, boaters helped them out of the airplane. No cause was determined for that 2016 accident. The NTSB is on site right now looking into this one. Hopefully, we'll get some details about that. I did talk about the weather. That is going to be a factor
very
here.
Lucky.
The water was choppy. You can see that. That's going to be a factor. What are the things that are factors in a seaplane landing? Well, there's the waves for sure.
The wind.
It's not like a smooth runway. Whenever I land on a runway, it doesn't move. It stays right.
Yeah. Apparently, they did the chopstick catch thing. Same thing that the SpaceX did, where the rocket came down and the chopsticks caught it. Yeah, very lucky. 10 people on board here, crashed, burst into flames. Everybody lived, couple of light injuries. And then in 2016, the same airline crashed. Everybody lived. You can die tripping on a rocket and flying against it. Yes, right. Trump charity was fraud. Also, university help. Not kidding. Yeah. No, I agree.
Right there, and it's nice and hard and smooth. The only conditions that could change on a runway was whether there would be like snow or ice or water from rain. That would be the only variables I would deal with. They're dealing with currents, with waves, with boats creating a wake and different waves coming from different directions. In this case, they're dealing with rocks. There's an island right in front of them. But out in that part of the world, there's just rocks jutting out of the water and the winds. And a lot of times you can't tell where the winds are coming from because you don't have the traditional windsock that you would normally have at an airport. So you just got to kind of figure out, based on maybe where you see the trees bending or something, where the wind is coming from and how much the wind is blowing. So with all that being said,
yeah, that's crazy.
Why were they stopping here? Let me show you a picture of the island. This place is called Shallow Bay. This is where they were.
I wonder if it's deep.
Susha Island. And you can see what a nice harbor that is. So if you're going to go anywhere to get away from the weather, you're going to come right up to a place like this. And if you're the pilot and you've flown this route many, many times, you're thinking already in your head, if I got bad weather, I know exactly where I'm going to put this airplane down. And you're thinking, I'm going to put it down in Susha Island, right there by Shallow Bay. Why? Because it's all just, you know, the islands kind of wrap around you. And it's always going to be calmer there. Now, we don't know why he was going so fast, why he couldn't get the airplane down. There's lots of variables in all of this. It appears from what we can hear that the engine was still running. So I don't think it was that they lost the engine, but we don't know if the NTSB is going to come out.
That's my whole piss off. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Exactly. So it's pretty obvious, especially when you go state by state and you see the populations of other states. I'm talking about state by state right now. Populations of other states and the results they get. How much better the kids are doing, how much better medicine and healthcare is taken care of, and the price per person. And then you look at other cities that's way out of control with different the same populations or less, and they spend a hell of a lot more. So it's like, well, they're cycling money through to do other bullshit. It's just right. And so they just keep saying, oh, well, all this is happening, so we got to raise your taxes. What do you mean? What do you mean? How about we know where the money's going first? But we haven't asked for 50 years. Burn the boats. My brother's a captain. He outflies Airbus. Yeah, wow. They're pretty freaking kick ass. I've only ever flown one jumbo jet, at Atlanta's airport here. I actually went and had a buddy who repairs the flight sims for actual training for the 747s. I got to see if I can find the videos that we did. I actually took it off and landed it without autopilot. I mean, this wasn't a real airplane, but it was a real flight simulator, not like one you see on YouTube, like in somebody's room. It's a real flight simulator. All the switches, and I took it off and I landed. He was like, I can't believe you did that first time. And I was like, yeah. We stuck on an island with sidecar Judy Bellingham. She's a hottie. I think we have the next 20 years of a French Revolution type January 6 10X, big and fully armed. I think it is interesting. And I'm on the Republican side, on the right, you rarely see any public gatherings, protests like that. So is it just that the people that are on the left get pissed off quicker or easier? Or do you have a bunch of people on the right whose resentment is growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and then it'll turn into something huge like the North versus the South? Morty, I watched this when economists said that they literally don't need taxes at all. Yeah, I've listened to economists like that too. Right. I remember hearing a really good point where they were saying it's you just have a bunch of super wealthy families that run a lot of the lobbying, and it's just to keep the lower class and middle class out of the upper class. Like if everyone was elite, there would be no elite. Everybody would be the same. So in order to keep yourself elite, you got to make sure that the lower classes can't compete with you. So by taxing the hell out of everybody, they're not going to be able to invest at the same rates and whatnot. It's impressive. The evil version. Evil Morty. The left is paid to protest. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And where does all that money come from? Whoever's paying for that, and is paying for it, they're getting reimbursed through NGOs and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, like people talk about January 6th for the Republicans, but that was one protest in 40 years I'm 49 years I've been alive, but I don't remember any right-wing protests. I hear a lot of it on the news, how violent the right wing is and whatnot, but I just don't see it. And then the left, everything, you have to cut your toenails from your big toe to your pinky, not your pinky to big. What? Burn down cities, everything goes crazy. So I think some people just build up resentment longer. Exactly.
With all of that, but they're headed towards this area. We get that faint little audio from the passenger that got picked up that said, well, they had some weather. It says there was some weather and the pilot was going around it. And then he says something about landing here to either let it pass or to avoid it. All of that kind of fits.
Wackadoo.
But I wish we had clearer audio on what that passenger said, but it does give us a little glimpse into why they touched down here.
Right. The only person with guns was the cops. It wasn't like, and there wasn't fire bombs thrown. There wasn't torches. There wasn't, like they didn't bust out all the windows and destroy the inside of the buildings. Like I had a completely different image in my head of what the right did during January 6th from what the media was saying. Then when you actually watch the footage and everything, and you don't see a bunch of cops and SWAT with those shields pushing people back, they open the barriers. So nothing's true. They slam dunks about obvious feel nice, but what do we get when they gain control again? This blunder will reverberate. Will reverberate. Dial up, brother. Yeah, there was a cop that died the next day from a heart attack. Yeah. Protection from an armed institution is the Constitution as the purpose of a militia. Yep, reason for Second Amendment, right? The police are actually led the press. Yes, right, exactly. And like when you actually see the footage, that's what I'm like, is this what they've been telling me about? Is this what? And this is the thing that starts to break you when like your worldview, when you're like, wait a second, I thought the freaking like White House got burned down. And then no, like people were just walking through, looking around, taking selfies, not spray painting over all of the murals and photographs and art, and not flipping desks over and shit. Like they could get right back to business the next day. It just didn't make any sense. And then it's like, is this what gaslighting is? Is this what gaslighting is? Fully armed generally right, but in previous years left has been armed. Cop died of a heart attack. Yeah, one of the murdered cops. Fedsurrection. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Well, they said that, and I haven't gone back and looked, but I heard that there was like I think it was either 230 or 430 feds there during that. Some of the protesters were literally left-wingers LARPing as right-wingers, filmed themselves, had Reddit's plans gloating about it. Yeah, so that's also true. What else is also true is that the right-wing racist white supremacists that marched on 4th of July, that's bullshit. That is such bullshit. The right wingers don't march. Left wingers march. Left wingers, that is like, yeah, no, it was all crap. And you could tell all their clothes were all brand new. They said, hey, let's buy 300 of these shirts, 300 of these pairs of pants, 300 of these hats. It was all wackadoodle. Someone shit on a desk. She was shot by a cop. Yep, back in the head. Yep, that's what it looked like to me. Another thing is that Nick Fed ties didn't serve time. Something stinks.
At Susha Island. Okay, when we get more details about this, we'll pass them along to you. But what we do know at this point is everybody is safe. There is one person I've been told that's in critical condition.
Oh, damn.
And our hopes and prayers go out to them, our thoughts for sure, that they would have a full and complete recovery. The airplane was completely engulfed. But the good news about this is that no fatalities in this one. Rough landing for sure. They were able to get it down. Probably not the ideal situation. We would hope that they would have gotten it down and not collided with the rocky coast of that island, but they did. And all of the circumstances that go into why they made that landing.
And like, so I was talking to one of my neighbors about like she was saying like about how like, why aren't ICE deporting people quicker? And she's on the left. Why aren't the ICE deporting people quicker? And I'm like, because the judges keep suing. And they have these groups that keep suing to say, no, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. Like, they'll have like one person that's in a group of like 50, and then they'll have to delay all of these until the person that says they need relief goes to the court and whatnot. And so there's this narrative going out that they have these rape dungeons for ICE agents where they arrest all of the illegals, and like it's like, why don't they deport them faster? And I was like, because the judges are blocking this stuff. People are suing it. People are suing in a completely different state, completely different town where the deportations are happening, and then the judge says, oh, you can't do that to these people. So then they put a hold on that, and then it's got to go through, and then they say, no, you can't do that. That's the president. Then they report those people over and over again. So they're just fattening up the narrative. Owen Schroyer had to do time over it, but Nick Fediz didn't. Peaceful independent journalist had to do time. Yep, 100%. Fauci pleaded the fifth when asked about the color of his tie. Yep. There are agent provocateurs at both left and right protests. Yeah. Any protest, any paid for protest. I'd serve time to serve justice to Fauci. Jeez, dude. I think there's a lot of people that feel that he definitely deserves justice, especially people that have looked into the way COVID actually works. The how single-stranded RNA viruses actually work, how the spike protein actually works, and how simple it is to handle these things with simple, off-the-shelf existing compounds. I plead the fifth.
We simply just don't know at this point, but as soon as we get them, we'll come back to you with a complete update. So right now, Kenmore Air, de Havilland DHC-3 aircraft crash lands into Susha Island. Everybody walks away. Several people in the hospital, one in critical condition. That's what we know right now. Well, now you know.
Don't think
I'm Captain Steve. Fly safe. Here's a seaplane that crashes. Unfortunately, everybody walks away. There are some critical injuries, but no fatalities. If you'd like to see another video of a seaplane landing, this one in the East River, and everybody walks away, check out this video or this one that YouTube recommends.
Nice. Oh, damn it. I didn't let you see it finish. I'll try to be funny. I lost it. Okay, anyway. He didn't do anything. Okay, let's see. And this. All those illegal house labs with ties to CCP have busted all over. Yeah, that didn't help. That didn't help. That didn't help at all. And dude, I tell you what. And the way they changed the protocols to say that benzodiazepines could be given with morphine sulfate. Most Republicans are country folks. Lots of pew pew. Galloping ghost. Galloping ghost. Let's see. Left is more willing to commit violence. The right is more capable of it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about when I said the left is more willing to protest about anything. But I think the right just gets madder and madder and madder and madder and madder until it comes to now it's time to actually change. Because they know that this stuff that a lot of the left, the far left is up in arms about isn't worth burning the freaking world down over. It's worth voting over. The agent does property damage, and then the police can end the protest. They have nothing to lose. Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, that's the thing. This is why there's that theory about why like the Russians and the Chinese have spread so much like TikTok propaganda on why women shouldn't date and why feminism's so kick ass and being a boss babe and alone. Because people that don't have children don't have anything to fight for. But there's a natural want to have a value to somebody other than yourself. But a lot of the people that are single or never going to reproduce, if you know what I mean, they choose a political reason to give their life to, rather than, no, I'm going to do the best for my children, my family, you know, and that's what's a little bit huge difference about the left and the right. But now there's, like I said, there's a lot of Republican voting liberals because the liberal party of the 90s and the 2000s is now MAGA. Like especially the points of closed borders, secure borders, and freedom of speech. Like what was done to freedom of speech, and like how so many people got kicked off the internet and whack-a-dude for the for the COVID stuff and for just anything left leaning. It was or on the right that was talking about left leaning stuff. They were. I mean, look, YouTube did away with the thumbs down button during that time. That's when YouTube did away with the thumbs down button on long form videos, because they didn't want people to say, oh, 500,000 people think this is bullshit. So they did away with that. I mean, they didn't say that's why they did, but that's when they did it. That's crazy stuff. Yep, you remember. Okay, Galloping Ghosts Fatal Flight. That's 45 minutes. Let's see if I can find a shorter one. Last flight. Yep, you remember, brother. There you go. They did that, the covered by Bride's presidential run. Listen, and that was like, especially when you hear these tapes of him talking to his ghostwriter, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The only places above replacement fertility are Africa and the stands. Yeah, I'm 36, so I've been there a long time. Paul Gilbert, Street Lethal, Michael Schneckner. Let's Assault Attack. Okay, let's see. Mayday disaster. Okay, here you go. Far left and far right are in cahoots together to bring chaos to the majority of the country who ignore that happens. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Nah, I'm draw, brother. What's good, Papa Bear? After 9/11, there was a big push to prevent another one. Hundreds prevented. And then we crap. We need to bring convert CCP in the background. Yeah. Yeah, but it's the way it was explained to me is you've got immaturity on the far left and immaturity on the far right, and then you have the adults in the middle, and like a lot of adults will let their immature kids get away with a lot until they finally cross a line. But it's the parents, it's the ones that know how to control themselves at times of minor chaos that'll finally bring everything back to common sense. Deep Purple bass player Glenn Hughes, Thought Project, this is that. It'll blow your mind. The far people, usually the unhinged with mental issues. Yeah, so I mean, they're the ones that have a lesser maturity when it comes to what's important for the population as a whole. Don't forget about brainwashing, conditioning, mind control. And I think they're really good at it. They've been pretty good at it since the 40s. I'm telling you, entitled No Crash, pick a different. Oh, I don't think we're going to watch him slam into the ground, Sinai, brother. What up, Beta Babe? Beautiful bastard. What are you speaking of? Because I've been drinking. And don't give me shit for it. Yeah, you better know. It's always good to know everything before knowledge. Wisdom is your power lesser. And a power lesser of it affects. It reflects. 10 years America will want immigrants, but no one want half the people to spare. And listen, I don't think like I talk to a lot of people. People don't not want immigrants. People understand that we've got violent countries that do not like us. And if I were one of those countries and I heard that the border was open in America, I would send all of my military-aged men that are trained this way. It just seems like, okay, we'll see. Yeah, it's a P-51 Mustang. Yeah, I had to jump through hoops and hurdles to Lake Stream. Thank you, Papa Bear. What would happen? His shit don't even show up for me. I have to search. Huh? I'm shadow banned. Okay, this is just seconds before a fatal crash. This one I've watched before. It looks like I've already watched it, so maybe I have seen it. Double tap your screen, thumbs up, right? Yeah, help a brother out. Help a brother out. Hit the like button if you could. Respectfully, I think the Second World War, they used a template to try to learn more about the human anatomy by those experiments they conducted that were unspeakably evil. Yeah, in Japan and in freaking Germany. Yeah, that was absolutely like Bayer. Bayer was the one doing a lot of the studies in Germany, and we got a lot of that information. after Operation Paperclip. The silly shit I say might have pie the babe. My bad. YouTube can suck me from the back. I'm rare form tonight. Thank you, brother. Bam. I got my flowers. Oh, flow state. Shadow ban is a badge. Well, that seems like I got it. YouTube likes to mess with me because I'm blind. Damn it, I'm drunk and hungry. Jesus Chrysler, dude. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. All right. I don't want to watch a freaking somebody lose their life. Their plane slamming into the ground. Mayday air disaster. Galloping ghost spiraled out of control. All right, let's see. Now I'm probably gonna, after watching those two videos, I'm probably gonna get a bunch of air crash videos. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. As Americans get poorer, you won't have to send anyone; you just have to pay. Yeah. Yeah. 9 hours at 11 gallons per hour. With 2 engines. Let's see. Joe Scarborough. Uh-oh. Health control. Uh-oh. It looks like, okay, never mind. We're not going to get into that. It looks like the Democrats only have a 38% chance of winning control of the House during the midterms. Okay, let me find something more mo funner to watch. Mo funner. Okay, we'll say. Hundreds of coyotes and cougars. The gunship that defied physics. GOP response, fast wild contractors. Why can't we have nice things? Egypt hit. Uh-oh. Looks like Egypt was just hit by Iran. Extreme makeover, 30-year-old DOS game. Everything's aircraft, air. People are losing their minds. Where are all the air marshals? Put a realistic face mask. Look, do something. No way. That's crazy. How you getting your computer's inertial audio to come to the stream? I'm using OBS. I'm using a piece of software called OBS, and you can route the audio from different sources and video from different sources to, like, I can use this camera here, and I could use this camera has audio on it. I could use that I could use this mic here or this mic here. And then I've got this camera here. So you can put everything together, and you have faders and everything. An audio mixer. So you can take, like, one says the desktop audio, which is what the computer would normally play. Then you have your mic audio, and then, like, I can have Chrome, like my Chrome browser audio. That's what it looked like. Let's see. It's what's his name? Let's see.
President Trump is not happy. He was at Lindsey Graham's funeral yesterday after meeting with Bibi Netanyahu and Volodymyr Zelensky. The leaders of the world were sitting in the church in National Cathedral, Washington, D.C., and Iran launched ballistic missiles at our Air Force Base. Again, this is the same Air Force Base where they were able to kill 4 service members. Those ballistic missiles were all shot out of the sky, thank God. But it wasn't a pretty picture. It was obviously to send a message to Donald Trump to try and control the terms of what's actually happening in the Middle East.
Jeez, we got
and here's the messy shootdowns last night. I only say messy because
100 times. 100 times. Dr. Fauci, yeah. Sounds like Trump, what, whole liquor, Benny Johnson? Yeah, that's who it is. OBS, that's it. Yes, that's it. Yep. That's what it is. Open broadcast software, open broadcast studio. It's free. Yeah, it's free. It does everything.
well,
what up, Dr.
Trump
Wiener,
is
the
pissed
butcher,
about all of this, and it seems like things are about to get messy. Trump told Fox News he's going to beat the effing S out of Iran. We're all adults here, and we can read. Try not to curse that much on the show, but here we go. And he followed that up seconds ago inside of the Oval Office, saying this.
LNG tanker off of Egypt. What can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran-related?
Fauci pleaded 111 times. He's almost in 110th grade.
It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them.
That's a good question, Billy Bob. I don't think the American drug cartels would, because our FBI and CIA know who all of the American drug cartel is inside out, every dollar, everything absolutely that's going on, and it would completely annihilate them. They'd be wiped off the face of out of the country. And then it would just be given over to their secondlings. So all of the leaders that are making billions of dollars on illegal drugs in America would be giving up that bag to the next in line who would take over once that they're pulled out. But the Mexican cartel, that's a different ballgame, because they got a place back to go. Iran is doing what we would do. Iran is doing what we would do. We're just lucky we're a dozen times bigger. Yep. Operation. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. But he also said that it's up to us if we want to get it. He said according to the data, it appears to work well. Because that's what Fauci told him. Fauci was working under Trump. China already works with the cartels. That's what Fauci. Yeah, right. That's my whole point. Especially with why so many people get so much money in California for drugs. They get cash assistance. They get to sign up at the homeless centers to get an address at the P.O. box type things at the homeless centers. And that's where they get their government assistance and everything through. So they get their money, they get their cash assistance, and they spend it on the cartel drugs that are coming through, and the government's giving to them. Trump implemented warp speed, but he did not make the shot mandatory. Right. That's the big difference. China and India produce all the molecules precursors. Yep. China's playing the long game. They go around sickening the population, buying it up. Right. Convincing women that men are the problem, and convincing men that women are whores, so that they try to lower the birth rate. But they're hitting it from both sides.
They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot. So it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point. But we're going to hit them very hard.
It's our turn, says Donald Trump.
All right. Good. There you go. Nice. War. Awesome. Some judges were offering time off their sentence, and they got the COVID vaccine. Yeah, dude. It's crazy shit, dude. What's up, Labrado? Yeah, it's crazy. Listen, not only that, they offered financial incentives to homeless people. They offered financial incentives and coupons and stuff to the kids in school, a burger and fries. Yep, it's our turn. Yeah, people that are pretty much untouchable. It's like, what do you think we're gonna let you take a dub on this? You think we're gonna let you say, well, we didn't hit it, we didn't hit them. So they were like, oh, we're going to attack Egypt, but they get intercepted. So let's have a conversation about this. How about we have a conversation about this? That's what they're doing. Yeah, yes, yeah, and they're still doing it. They got caught doing it in Florida the other day. Let me see if I got any, if I can find out where that was. Let's see. No, that's not it. No. I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, but they're apparently in Florida. They one of the Democrats, this guy that's trying to run as a Democrat. There's another Democrat woman, white woman, who's running also, and there's this black guy. I think he was a rapper before, called Unk or something, and he's seeing that the white woman Democrat, the white woman Democrat is got people, some black guy with dreadlocks and some other woman are going around collecting people's votes, going to people's homes and saying, hey, we're here to collect your votes. And supposedly what they do is if they've got a Trump sign or an American flag or whatever, then they'll just take it and jump and trash the vote so that the one that may be a Trump supporter or a Republican supporter will get junked, or people that haven't already said that they want it. What up, Wyatt? What's the difference when Elon Musk offered money to who? I don't know what we're talking about. The homeless crackheads. Oh, what's the difference? I don't know. So I would guess if you really honestly want what the difference is, and I don't know, is he said that there would be a lottery to entice people to vote, but the Democrats were paying each person and telling them who to vote for and like taking signatures and whatnot. That's what I would say. Or else, if a law was broken, then the Democrats would have arrested or sued or fined or whatever Elon. They didn't do that, so it must not have broken law. And here's the thing about California is that is against the law in California to pay people for their vote like that. Like you can't do that. But what Elon did, and that's probably the reason he did it. The reason he probably did it that way as a lottery is that it would get more people out to vote, hoping they'd win that $1 million. The birth rate is down across the world, including China. China is so strong. I'm doing good, Wyatt, brother. But of course, yeah, right? Yeah. Depending on the strength of feminism, a country depends on the... Right, yeah, it's pretty obvious. They know what's going on. Several third world countries have learned over the years that if they attack America, will come out of it better in the long run. And the elite know that they're not going to be the ones that get hurt. The elite know that they're fine. It's going to be the underlings that can't afford food, so they go into the military. It's absolutely what it is. It's all, listen, it's absolutely. Politics is dirty and disgusting, absolutely. Yeah, that's why you can't be on a side. You honestly have to look, because there's fake Democrats running, or fake Democrats running as fake Republicans, and Republicans running as fake Democrats, trying to get in. And some of them have been vocal about it. Like we can find videos of people saying, I'm a Democrat, I'm a progressive, but I'm running as a Republican because you can't win as a Democrat in this area. So what are they going to do? They're going to get it. And so you have to look at people's histories and say, okay, they voted left, but now they're running as a Republican, but Trump did that too. So is that, but the difference is the Democrats, the old school Democrat style is a lot of what's in the MAGA layout now. I haven't heard that crap from the FBI Director Patel. What the hell is he doing these days besides flaunting his girlfriend? I have no idea. No idea. I did hear something the other day about like a huge FBI fraud bust, unless they get grabbed up in the middle of the night. Okay, let's see. Man, I gotta turn my fan on. I'm getting hot. Paying for votes is illegal except oligarchs pay. Yes, right. Paying for votes, breaking the law is illegal unless you're an oligarch. Yeah, like look what freaking like. That stuff crazy. You're not fighting people, you're fighting money. Good point. Right, because a lot of these people are only in Congress for money and power. And the people that you'll beat, they'll still end up making money. Listen, a lot of the government retirement is in Tesla stock, SpaceX stock. So it's like they still would want Tesla to do well because their stock's going to rise. And they know the biggest companies in the world, in America, they're going to buy stock in that. And they're going to want those companies to do good. They're just talking crap. Maggots are Democrats. No one thought different. They're intended to balance out the budget or abolish taxation. They never, I'm never going to do that, right? What up, Vibe World Media? I break the law. A lot of what's wrong. YouTube clankers, not serious. Democrats thought through the system of bulletproof to steal money. Trump is dismantling that. They will end up on the corporate dime regardless. Yes, they're there to get money. They're there to get rich. Absolutely. I think why Trump has so much support is because he's the first president to lose money while being while in his presidency. Like during his first term, He lost money. He came out broke less money than he went in with. Not this time. Not this time. Though it's not really about the money, it's about perpetual influence. So the old school saying about politics is it's turning influence into affluence. If you can get enough people to listen to you, you will make a lot of money. Plain and simple. Trump's taking the clause from the Bank of England out of the UK. I also heard that we're restructuring the actual economy using a Federal Reserve of Bitcoin also. So it's going to be like we're going to on the digital dollar will be on the Bitcoin standard rather than on the gold standard is what it used to be, but like T-bills and whatnot. And that way you'll be able to move money all over the world for free, wallet to wallet, for free, rather than like people that want to move money to Mexico and whatnot, they've got to pay 7%. Like if they work in America but send money back home, they got to pay 7% or whatever it is on that. But if they use the digital dollar, then they'll get to do that for free. I've been known to violate statutes of man. Buster Scruggs. I'm Canadian. Yeah, brother, we got a lot of Canadians in here, Dave, and they say the same thing. You guys have it rough up there, man. And you guys, listen, you guys have so much natural wealth, especially like Alberta, whatnot. You guys could all be rich. What up, Walrus? Best YouTuber on stream. Thank you, brother. Best YouTube streamer. Many people don't know there's a city of London inside London. Yep, a lot of people don't know there's a Vatican City inside of the Vatican, or Vatican inside of the Vatican City. South Carolina decided that money equals speech, but really money equals volume. Canada has lost all their gold. They don't have any more gold reserves. They're whacking out their money. They're going through inflation. They have a big migrant issue also. And they have shit like it seems like they want the worst for their countrymen. The government wants the worst for their citizenry. Collect rare pennies. Yep, we stopped printing them. That's right. Yep, the leader's up. You're not East Indian, you can't work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very odd that they're trying to make it as hard as they can. And listen, and then if you can't work and you get depressed, you can just go to MAID and leave the planet. Like they actually have, and a lot of people are dying from selective suicide. Canada became, they want to make Canada's a test ground. So is the UK. The test ground for different ways to run America. No, it ain't good. We should take care of over Canada. Canada functions because of immigrants. Yep. Washington, D.C. for politicians, Vatican City, power, influence, City of London for money. Okay, let's see. Father of boy saved in dramatic Santa Cruz surf. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. I haven't watched it yet.
From what I gathered, he assumed he was going to die.
Father of boy rescued by Santa Cruz lifeguard.
The way he went in the water with those waves, the way he was getting crashed upon, and the way that he was going underwater over and over again, I mean, it was very clear that, he had put his own life at risk to save my son, which, is remarkable. I mean, Ryder's only 16 years old himself. He's a teenager. And, for him to take that kind of leadership and, go out and have that type of courage and bravery to go out and save someone else's life is remarkable. And I cannot
People
thank
think
him enough.
bravery these days is talking shit on the internet, but actually putting your life on the line for another person that you don't know. That person could have been a Republican. Jeez. Canada can't even choose between metric or imperial left field free cat.
Enough. I learned about the incident from my son. I had a call with my son and daughter. I have a 10-year-old son, Nathaniel. That's the one that you saw drowning. And I have a daughter that's 8. I spoke to both of them Saturday evening. He was drowning. He knew he was drowning. He blacked out. He went unconscious. I knew by the time I watched the video for the first time, I'd already spoken to my son, so I knew he hadn't made it. But I mean, if I was watching that video, I wasn't sure if he'll make it, if I hadn't seen the end of it. And I wasn't sure, honestly, if the lifeguard would make it out with those conditions. which is why it's so brave what he did. I watched Ryder completely fight all the current and wave and hold his ground, which is extremely difficult to do. I also watched him hold Nathaniel the entire time. It is so easy to let go and be forced to let go with those currents and rips. Like, for him to be able to hold on to him with those forces, those water pressures coming against him, is incredible. I mean, he showed incredible resilience, strength, and hold him out. It's amazing to watch.
Hero, absolutely.
I think it's rare that these things get
captured. I hear that a lot. Like, that's one of the things that made me start actually looking at Trump a little more even-handedly, is how much the people how much the people, a lot of people from Iran say screw America, blah blah, but a lot of people from Iran that I talk to in the DMs that I talk to on here are like, God bless Trump. This is and then in Canada, I hear a lot of people say like, absolutely, we'll be the 51st state. Let's do it. Get it straightened out. It's very, very weird to see, because we all see propaganda and we don't know what's real, but other people living in other areas whose actual ways of lives, they can see that it would be much better if their leadership, they would have stronger leadership. It's amazing to see that could happen.
With this much detail,
Canada may not have much gold in its vaults.
When he came out of the water, he was clearly limp. It doesn't look like he was breathing.
The problem is walrus. No, absolutely, they do, but they could have a much stronger financial system have they had reserves. So they should do that, but they don't want to. The problem is when the people that are pulling gold and stuff out of the ground, like in Alberta and New Brunswick, not New Brunswick, Alberta and maybe it's New Brunswick. Ontario, the capital, takes all of that wealth and then squanders it on crap that most Canadians don't even agree with in the first place, how the money's being spent. So you have people working hard, going down in mines and doing this, and then some wackadoo ass lefty liberal leader is just throwing it all away and not even reinvesting in Canada. You have to really look at Trump's actions from a 40,000 foot view. He's really playing the long game and trying to set up America superpower. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I have a buddy that lives in Iran. They have a deep packet internet that's monitored. What U.S. doesn't want anything of the Great Lakes? Sure they do. We need some Great Lakes, brother. We need that. We need that fresh water. Real heroes really get noticed. This stuff happens every day. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. YouTube inmate. Damn right. More people drown. Yeah, a lot of people drown, man. And a lot of lifeguards know this is too rough to go in after. So this 16-year-old going there, right. Like seeing that speck with all of that white water foam all around and whatnot. Very lucky.
I'm told that he kind of resuscitated when he came onto the shoreline and came back to consciousness. But, again, that's a matter of seconds, especially for a young kid. They have less lung capacity and such. And so it's really scary. I think he's still dealing with the shock and the trauma. I think my daughter's also traumatized. The siblings are very close. My son and daughter, they're very, very close. And so for her to watch, her brother almost die in front of her eyes is traumatic for a young child. And again, we got lucky that he didn't die. But this outcome could have been very different. I'm incredibly and extraordinarily grateful.
That boy isn't even using his legs to help out. He looks like he's unconscious.
He's the only reason that my son is alive. I have reached out. I'd like to thank him and do something.
I live in Massachusetts. The number of great whites over here says
show my gratitude. But I am so grateful that he saved them. Another 2 or 3 seconds, I don't think my son would have made it.
If you don't know the ocean, don't panic. Don't play it. Yeah, right. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. And especially during incoming tides or outgoing tides, you can have a lot of rip current. It can be calm and fun and everything, and then you go a couple of yards or meters, up or downstream, and just the way that the ground is shaped underneath, it just changes the way the water flows in the rip currents, and when it grabs you, the big thing is when you're underwater in those rough currents, it flips you around every direction. So while you're conscious, you don't know which way is up, which way is towards air. So like you can try to fight it, but you might be bringing yourself deeper. and then fighting it so hard and using all of your air. That's what's really wackadoo, is that, you know, because you can't, like, at least scuba diving, if you're in a freaking cave or in a dark area, you can watch your bubbles. You know, you just don't know which way's up. You blow a bubble and see which way the bubble goes and follow that. But when the bubbles are going like this, yeah, it's crazy. My friend's professional lifeguard told me what race I think drowns most people, and black people, and Mexican. She said Mexicans do. Wow. He's exhausted, definitely. Yeah, if he's not out. The surf had a lot of sand mixed in with it. Yeah, you can't see what's going on. Milliseconds. Yeah, he doesn't look like he had any. Yeah, they're still dragging him. Yeah, he wasn't walking. He gets swept out. Yep, the undercurrent will get you. What up, Trump Gaming? Ain't seen you in a while, brother. He makes mistakes. 2 cords dangerously to body boards. Attached, the old floaty attached to the rope being dragged too. We can't afford to make Canada a state. No, we're broke. Africa's white shark population has been decimated by 2 orca brothers. I wonder if that's why Massachusetts. Oh, maybe they headed west. If I was there, I would have used my body as a dam. Yeah, I've done a lot of scuba diving, snorkeling, a lot, and I mean, and I stay very calm. I don't get triggered and upset easily. And whenever I got caught in strong currents, I just held my breath until it ended. You know, like, not try to fight, just stay there until it's over, and then you pop up. But if you use all your air and you're not buoyant anymore, same thing in an avalanche. Spit to see what's up. Spit to see which way's up. Yep. Gravity will draw it back down. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the orcas. They also hunt bowhead whale. I'll be honest, I know water is powerful. Water, yeah, listen, that's the reason we use water for power generation. It's heavy. What is it, like 8.6 pounds per gallon? And you got hundreds of thousands of I mean, how many gallons are actually manipulating your body, flipping you around? If you don't know what you're doing, a few inches slip, yeah, you can pull your feet right out from under you. There you go, brother. That's the way to think about it. All right, let's see what we're doing next. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Good for that guy. Good for that guy. No way. What is going on here? Human dam? Just drop it away. Stop that water. Current and riptide kill tons of people each year. Yeah, I mean, you could try. I mean, if you're a big boy, I'm not a big boy. That water would freaking manhandle me. Surprise attacks, hair extension regrets. Super cut of Biden pleading the fifth. We're not gonna watch it, but the orcas headbutt the sharks to get all the whites upside down till they die. You too. All right, let's see. Idiocy. Goldfish suck now. What? The comptroller who stole a town. Iran. Death race. Uh-oh. Yeah. Trust me, it's ripping off my it's ripping my eyelids off. Yeah. Hey, I say, what's up, Dakota? Stay out of the ocean. 2 orca brothers literally around torture the white sharks. All they do. Dude, orcas are violent and evil. Dude, the way that they like manipulate the water to like knock I'm about to say sheep. Not sheep. What are they? Damn it. What are those freaking little fluffy looking things that swim with the flappers? What are they called? Yes, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I'm sure there's a video about the 3. Yeah, we've watched one before, how they knock people. They knock, what are those things called? Sea lions, sea lions. Yeah, they knock them off. Look at this doofus, another silly crackhead. Thank you, Zolly Doom. Sandblasted water jetted out, but I'll hold on. Orcas can obliterate sunfish. They're violent, and they'll play around with their victim for a while until they kill it. Become a ramp for the water. Have a hair bubble. But if you lose him, yeah, he's a goner. He'll be pulled back out. Killer whales. Yeah, they're definitely rough. All right, let's see. Refuses high points. I know. Okay. All right, let's see. No way. Look at this chick. Yeah. If you let go, he's gone. Because imagine how exhausted those not Coast Guard. What do they call those people? Lifeguards were. They were exhausted. So if he got pulled out again, they would have, they would either said we gotta let him go, or it's all a game to him. That's what it seems like. Yeah. Seen it go wrong. It's an orca, ocean, some other stuff too. Yep, a lot of people die in pools too. A lot of people die. But check this chick out. Look at this. Look at this chick. Look at this. Here, let me zoom in here. Look at this chick. That's so crazy. She's eating good out there. It's so crazy. Someone's jammed. Think swim in total panic. They start swinging, throwing haymakers, and pulling you underwater. Oof. Oof is right. All right, let me find something here. Even in a pool. Yeah, water will kill you. Okay, high storage, bad prosecutors, turbulence, borders matter, reloading a gun, everything, access, instant karma, fan beast, Fauci crumbles, weak on Democrats, Republicans losing, MAGA Senate, my garage, cheap import amp, electric motorcycles, dirt bikes. Sega says they won't abandon. Yeah, hooking for cheeseburgers again. Yeah, hooking for cheeseburgers again, Randy. What the fuck is even that? In a total panic. Yep. Multiple. Orcas are way too intelligent for their own good. At least they know. Yeah. They know what's going on. Orca attacks. If they pull you under selfishly, the exact moment you breathe, you're done. Yeah. And a lot of people go into panic mode as soon as water hits their lungs. And this is what, and I'm not a freaking Navy SEAL, but apparently Navy SEALs can handle water in their lungs, like the ones that are very, very good. Like they can deal with that. I mean, better than people that can't, obviously. All right, orca attack. Also, what's important is a pure person gets water in their lungs, they can drown. Even yes, right. It's called dry drowning. So it's when the water that's in your alveoli in your lungs, even though the mass water out, you still can't. You're still not getting oxygen. There's still like water in your lungs, keeping the oxygen and carbon dioxide transformation from happening. Navy SEALs go through intense training. Yes, they do. They definitely do.
Humans are lucky that the most dominant marine mammal in the world, the one which can be the size and weight of an American school bus, has shown a high degree of intelligence and is nicknamed Killer Whale, has never shown hostile behaviour to humans in the wild. Until now. Since May 2020, there have been over 500 recorded incidents of orcas reacting to boats, and even sinking multiple of them with humans aboard. But the big question is, why are they doing it, and why now? Is this the start of an orca versus human war? Before we answer those questions, we need to explain what they're...
Right. The keepers of like SeaWorld that like pulled that woman down by her ponytail and like held her underwater until she drowned. Great.
Actually doing to the boats, and how this behavior is even possible.
That's a lot of freaking orcas.
The attacks originated in the Strait of Gibraltar, a narrow body of water which connects the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. An important piece of context here is that this is one of the busiest waterways in the world, with over 300 ships passing through each day, about one every 5 minutes. We'll get into the why later, but evidently, orcas have found a problem with this traffic, so began to attack passing boats. What's fascinating...
Yeah, you're talking in the wild, Papa Bear. In the wild, I mean, unless he's going to talk about something different here, but yeah, the only ones I've ever heard of was the ones at SeaWorld. Like one of the trainers that did regular shows with the same orca over and over and over again, and then one day it just got pissed and it grabbed her by her ponytail, pulled her underwater, lashed her around, held her under.
About their attacks is that they aren't senselessly ramming into the side of the boats. They're going straight for the rudder, which instantly disables its ability to navigate. If the goal of their attacks is to render the boat useless, then they've already figured out the most efficient way to do so. Similar to how when they attack sharks, they only eat the fatty, nutritional liver. But that's for another video. In 3 cases, they've actually managed to damage the boat so badly that it sank. And each time, there were multiple people on board. However, they were all recovered safely. In fact, there has never been a recorded human death by an orca in the wild. Now. These attacks aren't short either. Their most recent sinking, on a boat called Champagne, lasted 90 minutes. 2 orcas went for the rudder, whilst another attacked the side of the boat. If you're sat there wondering, are orcas big and strong enough to do this? This is a snippet from a previous video about orcas. I'll be referencing it a bit, so I recommend checking it out after this one. To put it simply, orcas are big.
Power, man.
Males can grow over 9 meters.
That's long. Spaniards have been threatened to shoot orcas. That's a bad idea. I just like John Bon Jovi did. Except that he was talented. I'm rocking the suburbs. You take the checks and face the facts that some producer with computers fixes all my shitty tracks these days. Yeah, I'm rocking the suburbs. What up, Space Cow? They wouldn't it hurt them to hit the road? You think it would? You think it would? You think it would? Yeah, most of them are wooden or fiberglass. Sailboats, yeah. They're next to me. I live in Tangier. Wow. You see a lot of orcas, Walrus? And your name is Walrus. Are you a spy? Yeah, sure they don't. I'm sure they wouldn't. And they just don't. Yeah, I think it's everybody's. It's one of my favorite animals, too. They're freaking beautiful. And they're huge. And they're powerful. Like, power. There's that feeling of awe. When like you see something in nature that you can just tell it's super powerful. Like if you've ever tried to swim out of the water and like that orca just did, you know you can't do it. You know they've got something you don't. It's like a feeling like connected with just strength. Like the same thing like why people also like boxing and mixed martial arts and stuff, because you see humans or something, a live being doing something that you can't do. He's Moroccan. Yeah, he is. I can't. Okay, I was correct. Orcas have never attacked a human in the wild. Yeah. Never killed a human in the wild. I think they have been attacked, but I don't think they've ever. I don't think there's been ever any killings, or they ate them and never heard from them again. The fish-eating orcas are safe to swim because they don't view you as food. Swimming with the mammal-eating ones can be sketchy because they're more likely to see you as food. Are you ethnically Moroccan? That's where he lives. He lives in Egypt. Or you live in Morocco. Sorry. Yeah, he lives in Morocco. Nothing like someone likes an orca or a whale staring one in the eye. No, dude. I've never stared an orca into the eye, but I've scuba dived a lot and snorkeled a lot and saw some other big mammals. But never a freaking orca. 100%, sir. I love boxing and MMA. Trying to get back into MMA. Just trying to find a job, pay the training. Yeah, you gotta freaking get yourself out there. It's not. There was a lot of boxers back when I lived in Maryland, and there was places where you could go to like spar and whatnot, and even in front of people, Michael's 8th Avenue, something like that. And that's where you would find trainers and whatnot. But I mean, now a lot of people are into like the MMA and stuff. You have to be good. Usually you find people through your current trainer, like if you're training martial arts. I think orcas attack the rudder, disable the ship boat, or something has something to do with the time. That's what I would imagine. Tascala Marbia, Akid, Weshanta Margarobia, Tangagui.
weigh over 10 tons, about the size and weight of an American school bus. Females are a bit smaller. Their streamlined, hydrodynamic shape, paired with their strength, makes for a powerful stride. So powerful, in fact, they are the second fastest marine mammal in the world. So far, the Atlanta Orca Working Group have tracked 9 orcas orchestrating the attacks. This includes an orca named White Gladys, whose actual name is Blanca, and she may hold all the answers, but we'll come back to that later. All the orcas attacking the boats have been given the Gladys nickname. What's important for now is the fact this behaviour is spreading. Whilst it originated in the Strait of Gibraltar, there have been recent reports of boat attacks in the North Sea off the coast of Scotland. So how are orcas learning this behaviour, and how is it spreading? Orcas are much smarter than you think, and they are incredible at learning. For example, when they are born, their pulse calls don't resemble that of their elders. But as they grow, they start making them correctly. And that's just one of the many ways orcas communicate with each other. They have also created many ingenious hunting strategies, such as this one. There's only one way to get the sea lion off the large piece of ice and into the water. As a group, they swim underneath the ice, but close to the surface, creating a wave which breaks up the ice. At this point, further waves are pretty ineffective due to the broken up ice. So the matriarch coordinates the group to slowly push the ice raft into clearer water.
That's so
Orcas also have a complex social structure. They spend their whole lives in their family pods, occasionally interacting with other pods, but this is mainly for mating purposes. When the grandmother stops giving birth at around 40, she takes the lead of the pod, spending the rest of her time sharing her knowledge and expertise to her descendants. This is very important for the final part of the video. On top of all of this, orcas have the second largest brain in the animal kingdom, only behind sperm whales. They weigh in around 5.4 kilograms to 6.8 kilograms, which is about 5 times heavier than a human's brain.
Different intellects.
Clearly, orcas have the ability to learn, communicate with each other, and create ingenious hunting techniques, which answers the question of how this new behavior is possible
back in 2023
and how it's
told me
spreading.
about your YouTube lives. He gave me something, got tested, email.
So now we get to the why, and the biggest question is...
remind me what state that was in, Evil Dude? What state was that in? I date a lot.
Are they being playful, or are they seeking revenge?
There are 4 main theories, with the leading one being that this new behaviour is indeed revenge-driven. Remember that orca I mentioned earlier, White Gladys? It's speculated that she was entangled in a fishing line or had previously been damaged by a boat, and therefore has negative associations towards them. There are also other orcas in the region with injuries consistent with boat collisions or entanglement. Because of this trauma, she began orchestrating attacks on boats and taught this new behaviour to
orchestrating
her pod. The safe rescue of humans in each sinking suggests that orcas don't have any sinister motivation against us. Their grievance is clearly with boats. The second theory is a little bit tamer, and it's that all of this is simply a fad. The orcas are basically just being playful and will eventually get bored. They have been known to have fads before, such as wearing a dead salmon as a hat. No, seriously, this happened in 1987 to a pod of southern resident orcas. The behaviour spread, lasted for a few months, but then disappeared.
Damn.
This theory is bolstered by the fact that most of the attacks have been juveniles or young orcas.
You guys end up be like, dude, I'm your next door neighbor. It's freaking me.
Research has proved that teenagers are risk takers across the animal kingdom, not just in humans. So this behaviour could really just be the orca equivalent of knock door run. The third theory is a little bit unhinged. Some people are seriously speculating that this is the start of an orca uprising against humans, and that as they learn, their attacks will get larger and more hostile. A bit far-fetched if you ask me. There is, however, a fourth and final theory, which is much sadder, but an important topic nevertheless. The orcas just want to survive.
You're probably
right.
The
Iberian orca subpopulation is critically endangered.
Right. Yeah, walk over to your neighbor's house, look in his window, see if he's streaming 110th grade.
with only 39 recorded during its last full census in 2011. Their key prey is the Atlantic bluefin tuna.
Super tactical, super tactical. They'll move that one. They'll break up the ice sheet. They'll move one out. They'll keep smacking it and breaking hunks off and breaking hunks off. They like swim up. They look at the thing to see where it's at. Then they go and then they squeak and talk. And then another one will go around to another side. And then they'll tip it up to slide the seal off or the up. And then it's freaking definitely crazy. Did you go to English school, French, or Arabic? My name is Khalil. Khalil, what's up, Trey? Mom's for a barbecue, cheeseburgers and tots. Man, I had not 2 days ago. Well, for the entire last week until it ended 2 days ago, I had 2 pounds of beef brisket that I was eating. It was so good. Yeah, they hunt like wolves. Yeah, like water wolves, big ass, huge water wolves. Don't know any Khalils? Rich has lost their cover. It's all right. You guys are all right. Enjoy yourself.
Which migrates from the Mediterranean Sea after spawning in July. The orcas may simply associate any boat as a vessel with the ability to remove its food source from the ocean, so their best chance at survival is to disable their ability to navigate.
Crazy.
Nobody knows for sure why the orcas have adopted this new behavior, but the
or they're Moroccan military vessels meant to take out neighboring.
The third theory is a little bit unhinged. Census in 2011. Their key prey is the Atlantic bluefin tuna, which migrates from the Mediterranean.
He learned it here at 110th grade.
Sea after spawning in July. The orcas may simply associate any boat as a vessel with the ability to remove its food source from the ocean, so their best chance at survival is to disable their ability to navigate. Nobody knows for sure why the orcas have adopted this new behavior, but the concern is what the human response will be if it escalates. I mentioned earlier that there has never been a recorded human death by an orca in the wild, but there has been in captivity.
Here she is.
Orcas are powerful, emotional, and really intelligent creatures who, like humans, will do what they have to survive. As a species, we seem to be relatively comfortable around orcas in their own environment, but with diminishing food supplies hurting their chance of survival, we must err on the side of caution, because at the end of the day, orcas are the ones that rule the ocean.
Alright, let's see.
I've already mentioned this previous video I made about orcas being much smarter than
Maghrib Rockham, watch it. Wahid.
The vast expanse of all of the world's oceans is ruled by one incredibly smart but deadly creature, infamous for its distinctive black and white colouring.
I'm learning.
This creature is known to us as an orca or killer whale. The nickname killer whale instills a sense of fear, hinting at a dark and savage nature.
Like you see how he comes up like that? Usually, like I've seen videos like that where you can just see that freaking, I think the eyeball is like 6 inches around, and you can see it come up and it just looks right at its prey, and then it just slips back under, and then I don't know if it's in the video, it'll be in there or not, but
they are feared by many ocean inhabitants, such as the great white shark. They are far more complex than the name suggests. Killer whales are not actually whales at all. They are the largest part of the dolphin family. The name orca is derived from Latin ornicus orca, which means god of the underworld and champion.
Okay, here it is, insane hunting, here it is.
Orcas have been known to hunt anything from fish to hunchback whales, and even great white sharks. In fact, great white sharks are scared of orcas. They will hunt them down in packs, ram into the side of their body, which stuns it, flip it upside down so it drowns, and then almost surgically remove the fatty liver, leaving the rest of the carcass for the ocean ecosystem.
Like it's amazing that they see the shark, they know there's a liver in there, they know where it is, they know how to kill it in packs, and then just go for the liver and then leave the rest. Maybe you're pissing them off. I don't know. What up? Yeah, go for that liver. If you know, you know. I don't know. Shark Week, you know, whales going to come up and down, fall. It's called death. It's called the death Whale death fall. Yeah, yeah. When huge sperm whale or blue whale die, and as they rot and fall, right, there's like a rain of the pieces parts. Yes. Yeah. I can attest to many of their tactics due to the military exercises.
Terrifying, right? Well, great white sharks think so too. They have been known to not return to their hunting ground for at least a year if there's been a recent orca sighting. But that's the more brutal side of an orca hunt. The following two techniques showcase their innovative hunting strategies, executed with near military level precision. The first is courtesy of Frozen Planet 2,
same thing with bowhead
incredible
whales.
documentary by the BBC. A few orcas from the group are used for recon, popping up in between gaps in the ice to locate a sea lion. Once found, they communicate to initiate a coordinated attack. There's only one way to get the sea lion off the large piece of ice and into the water. As a group, they swim underneath the ice, but close to the surface, creating a wave which breaks up the ice. At this point, further waves are pretty ineffective due to the broken up ice. So the matriarch coordinates the group to slowly push the ice raft into clearer water. Even though the seal is now in the water, the job is not done. To protect themselves from injury, they blow bubbles to disorientate the seal.
They blow bubbles.
Point, dinner.
So just like how that we watched that kid that got saved earlier, the water is rough and airy and swishing all around. It's disorienting. So now that's what they do. So they go under and then blow a bunch of air up together so that the freaking so dinner is then disoriented, doesn't know which way to go, and then they go in after it. It's so crazy. Yeah, right. Yeah, and they know what they're doing too. They know like how to break it up. They and this is where they live. This is their life. This is
served. The second technique was first discovered in 1985, just off the coast of Argentina. When the tide is high and the sea is calm, orcas intentionally beach themselves to snag sea lions directly from the shore, a place where the sea lion would expect to be safe. By the time the sea lion sees the orca,
orcas are dolphins
their
with
swarm embrace
steroids.
is already upon them.
Killers.
Just for the orca to swim in such shallow water is
they would say this. They would say this.
dangerous, but intentionally beating themselves is almost a suicide mission. But for the orcas who have mastered it, it's an incredibly effective way to catch their food. Young orcas have been seen with an older orca practicing this technique, making them do it again and again and again, and sometimes even using seaweed as a prop. It's always the woman doing the teaching, and they are always very patient. Evidently, orcas exhibit a remarkable capacity for problem solving when in pursuit of food, creating and employing ingenious strategies executed with military-grade precision.
Damn. Holy crike, freaking wackily. Yes, right. You see that orca
orcas have the second largest brain in the animal kingdom, only behind sperm whales.
I've seen lots of them where they play with their food like that, throwing it. Like, look, you grabbed it to throw it. You could have just eaten it, and they just play with it. Tom Brady. Yeah, playing catch.
They weigh in around 5.4 kilograms to 6.8 kilograms, which is about 5 times heavier than a human's brain. However, there is one thing scientists know for sure, which is a larger brain does not equal greater intelligence. Right. What does, however, is a larger brain size in comparison to the body. To measure this, scientists use encephalization quotient.
Right, brain to body mass ratio.
And in that aspect, orcas come in third place behind dolphins.
If orcas were land creatures, we wouldn't be land creatures. We wouldn't be here. Tenderize them. What do they do with penguins? Snacks. Have you ever heard their voice? It's literally my grandma snoring. Yeah, I mean, like, we think of great white sharks as like the apex predator, but they're scared of killer whales. Are you in Tangier?
Dolphins and humans. But what's even more impressive about the brain of an orca is the high levels of gyrification, which essentially means how wrinkled the cerebral cortex is. The more gyrification, the higher the total amount of data it can handle, and the speed at which
they were
it's
land
processed.
creatures, they
For
would have
context, a human brain has a gyrification of 2.2, whereas orcas is 5.7, the highest in the world. But what fascinates scientists the most is the orca's extremely developed insular cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotion, compassion, interpersonal relationships, and consciousness. Again, they have the largest insular cortex in the world. Knowing all of this, it's not unthinkable to suggest that an orca's brain operates similar to our own, that they are capable of high level of intelligence and emotions as humans are, that they acknowledge and perceive the complexity and scale of the world they live in. It may just be possible that orcas are aware of their own existence, which is remarkable to think about.
I wonder what their lifespan is. Orca lifespan. 50 years, 80 to 90. Males average 30 years, reaching 50 to 60. Matriarchs can live up to 100 years. Oh, the grandmother. That's what they were talking about before. Streamer says, my name's Richard. Streamer said something about Egypt. No, I misspoke. He's in Morocco. I said, we were talking about Egypt getting bombed earlier from Iran, and that's was stuck in my head. Between Rabat and Mechanus. Even humans don't play with animals before we kill them, consume unless you're down, right? Unless you're freaking nuts, right? Like people that and the people that do are crazy, dude. No, dolphins are pretty amazing as well. Dolphins are super good at killing great white sharks. Yeah, bottlenose dolphins. Asked like 30 to 80. I guess it's not. I guess it's time to go hug an orca. Orca hugger. Orca huggers. Yeah, let me say orca. Let's look into the Sea World attack. Ricky. Ricky was a young boy. Ricky was a young boy. He had a heart of stone. We were talking about a Renaissance dam in Ethiopia that affected Egypt. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, too. Yeah. Dolphins are sexually deviant. They'll rip. Yep, that's true. That's true. That's true. Let us know about that orca hugging good. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Ask. Yeah, we're not. Oh, 4 days ago. There was another one? No. This has to be an old one. Oh, man. No. John Goldbody. Live 9 to 5 and worked his fingers. He had a heart of gold. The abbreviation AST. Some guy working on the dolphin that ended up having an affair with it. It was a chick. It was a chick. It was a girl. It was a woman that did. And they didn't dude, I watched the whole story. I read the whole story, and then I watched a documentary about it like 10 years later. Yes, she had a huge relationship with it, and they had to like break them up. And then the dolphin got depressed and shit. Yeah, it was definitely a woman. It was definitely a chick. Definitely, 100%. I know all about it. That's right. Yes. So there was a guy that was running the experiment, and they had like a small a small pool area in like a big ass room, part of the lab, and she hung out with it, got to know it. She was like, so he was like the head scientist, and she was the one that was like the lab, like the underling, basically, like the one that was doing the lab work, and the scientist would get the data and run the numbers and whatnot. Yeah, dude. Yeah, brother. He's got good English. Now you're all right, Walrus. I got translatability. I'm smart. I'm smart. All right, let's see what we can find here. Shamu incident. Lotkeys. All right, let's see what I can find here. You're good, Walrus. It's good. I consider this like a bar, like a tavern. You know, when I first opened the doors to the place, nobody came in. Then eventually one person came in and they would talk to me. Then another person would come in and they talk to me. Next thing you know, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 people in here and they're talking to each other and talking to me. That's absolutely great. I like it. That's why we're here. Bam. My name is something, but don't say it, please. Is it like, is that, like Beetlejuice? Don't say it 3 times. Okay, let's see. We're suing. Oh, jeez, so crazy. When you realize you've been lied to. Hey, there's me. Yeah, she's pretty hot. DNC's been scammed. No way. Oh, jeez. Margarita. I'll take a margarita. Yeah, have one, brother. Really, the relationship with the dolphin, didn't know that. So yeah, dude, there wasn't a date in sight. It was so crazy. Rich, you think Rich is lost? I'm literally blind. I don't know who's talking to who and what the hell he's just talking. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in a freaking live stream chat room blind. I'm guessing it's all audio. Yeah, that's me. That's me, brother. My name is Richard. Hey! Wow. Thank you, Bathy. It's crazy. It wasn't a date inside. She had a dolphin in her. She couldn't resist. Yeah, Richard. My name's Richard. They call me Rich. Hope Hollywood stays away from orcas. Don't repeat the same propaganda about sharks. Dude, listen. So, we've had these things since I think it was the 70s. I can't remember when SeaWorld started, 70s or 80s. And we've had a bunch of different SeaWorlds and a bunch of different orcas, but they always name them, I believe, they've even when ones died off, they would keep calling them Shamu. So that as orcas died off or got released or whatever, people would still be like, let's go visit Shamu. Mom, I want to go see Shamu. Dad, you know, and then so they kept naming them Shamu, not Shamu 2, Shamu 3. That kind of relationship. Okay, let's look into it. Free Willy, good propaganda. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Female scientist who had a relationship with a dolphin. Here you go. What a freaking nut. Voiceover only reads each person's comment one by one. I'll have to scroll through each one. I think I swipe around the height of the Empire State Building with each one of the streams you have. I don't think she dropped. Okay, yeah. So, Margaret, Margaret Ho. She was a hoe. Margaret Howe, love it. Lovat was the only individual known for having an intimate physical relationship with a dolphin during a scientific project. In the 1960s, she worked as a self-taught volunteer at NASA-funded interspecies communication lab in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. I've been there. Run by John C. Lilly. So John C. Lilly was the guy running the experiment, and she was in there doing like the data government. The goal was attempting to teach a young male bottlenose dolphin to mimic human speech. I guess they went a little farther than the talking stage. Really see the movie Arca? I have not. Maybe I have. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have. It's for science. Yes. And now a random sentence. You can see this sentence. It was a little more confusing to you and your waffle family in the middle of where the mollusks communicate with a squadron of flamboyant mice. B2B. Okay, let's see. That dolphin scored. Depressed. Yeah, she left the dolphin. Okay, let's see if it has it. Okay, in 1965, she lived in a flooded, specially adapted house with Peter. 24/7 for 10 weeks to maximize language training. As Peter matured, his sexual frustration disrupted the communication lessons. Lovett manually and physically accommodated him on the daily so the research could continue without aggressive interruptions. Funding dried up when she dried. Funding dried up in 1966 as the research failed to produce legitimate linguistic but instead of learning to talk or teach dolphins to talk, they learned how to talk women into freaking giving it up. Literally a cartoon. Let me get a normal account, reasonably normal account. Get you a normal account, brother. Nothing's normal. Yeah, this is crazy. Peter's fate was moved to a dim, cramped facility where he died shortly after from stress-induced voluntary cessation of breathing. So he decided if he couldn't have her anymore, he was leaving the planet. Okay, totally gotcha. All right, you're back. I got you changed to a normal account. There you go. Welcome. Hit the like button. Give me 2 likes. What's wrong with the movie Aquaman should have been based off of? Good point. Hope they use protection. Imagine maybe there's mermaids. I bet you. Nah, yeah, I guess you could say she was fish food. The sooner you realize that, you become normal. I'm a dolphin on a puffer fish. They're all fish food. Still fresh net. So do you see this here? He also did controversial LSD experiments on dolphins. So you wonder if maybe dolphins given a bunch of LSD ended up turning into really super smart orcas. Or maybe dolphins that were under the influence of LSD that orcas ate, and now that's why they freaking are just tripping out and going crazy in the water. No way. Yeah, he drowned himself from depression from lack of handies. Yeah, that's so crazy. MK Orctra. Dolphins do play with fish. They have poison. They get eye. Yep, that's true. Yeah, pufferfish. Yeah, he's in that. Lucky dolphins. That's so. Look at this. Jeez, it keeps going. No way. That's her. Lamau, God almighty, I love when Richard suddenly stops reading my comments and backs out because of damage control. Well, yeah, it happens often. Yes, the government funded this. Yes. Look at this. Dude, right. Who knows? Yes, right. That was my point. How she was dressed. Look, she's got a freaking skirt on and everything. She's on the phone. Is she good at? Yes, that's what's crazy. That's why. Why do you think they're kidnapping people? I don't remember what she looks like. Is she hot? Yeah, she's pretty hot for a freaking dolphin lover. Where's my acid? He's probably getting right. Right. This picture here, with her big old smile on her face, reaching right under the belly of that dolphin. She got the big, look at this. She got the handy mitt. She got the handy mitt 5000. The freaking dolphin jerker 5000. That's so crazy. It looks like it's got like a freaking look at the little pickle on it. The blowhole. There's heroin down it. Probably. They don't call it going down. They call it going under. Oh, man. Oh, look at this. Dude. Sorry, Papa Bear. I keep saying look at this. But this is freaking crazy. That's a chick. That ain't no dude. That's her. Oh, you talking about that? Yeah, this is the researcher. Give me a. Oh man, the girl who talked to dolphins. The prison shower. The girl who talked to dolphins. No way. No freaking way. No way. I could imagine if a dude did this, he would have hit the blowhole. He'd also be in jail. Right. The talking stage. Yeah. That's crazy. That's so crazy, dude. Yeah, that stuff's whack-a-do. Wackadoo. You're going to have to get your guys a hat at 110thgrade.com. 110thgrade.com. Get you a wackadoo hat. Or a nice wackadoo shirt. I can't believe we were talking about worldwide shipping, by the way. I can't believe we're talking about this. I heard about it so much 20 years. Brother, yeah, that's what I remember talking about it in like the early 2000s. I'm about to fight a dolphin with my woman. Yep, NASA scientists. I bet it's on PH. Magistrate Channel. Imagine where all this other freaking USAID money's going to. If NASA money went to freaking chicks banging dolphins, what do you think's happening with USAID money? You ever see a human elbow? A dolphin? I seen a oh, never mind. That's so crazy. So insane. So crazy. Oh, man. Moon landing never happened. Yeah, well, moon landing might never have happened, but this chick definitely banged a dolphin. Said definitely paid for this, the dolphin to bone the lady. Yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy. That's so nuts. That sounded wrong considering the topic. It can go both ways. Yes, Margaret Howe Lovat, the only individual for having an intimate physical relationship with a dolphin during a scientific project in the 1960s. She worked as a self-taught volunteer at NASA research-funded interspecies communication lab in St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. Yeah, choke a dolphin by plugging his blowhole. Guaranteed. You screw my wife? That's so crazy. How did she know that his sexual frustration was disrupting the communication lessons? How do you determine that? How do you determine that it's sexual? Like, honey, please talk to me. Your sexual frustration is disturbing our communications. Well, you know what they had to do to the dolphin. That's so nuts. I can't get over this. I'm freaking stuck in this freaking Virgin Islands is kind of erotic. That was my point. It happened in that dolphin ain't a virgin. That's so crazy. Like, look, excuse me, sir. Me and Peter we're almost there with the communications, but it seems like he's sexually frustrated. Can I get a raise? I'll take care of it. Whatever you need to do to make that dolphin talk. Okay. Yes, sir. Orders understood, sir. The story should have been Ripley's Believe It or Not. Way down the rabbit hole. The blowhole. I love it. I love it. This is so nuts. The dolphin had enough of her faking headaches. Yep, he was best. I imagine the dolphin laughing and clapping. Master Finn's asked, "What's that?" Sweetie, give me that box. Give me that. That's so crazy. Super deep into the vortex. P-Dolphin. P-Dolphin. I want to apologize to everyone for bringing the story. That's your fault, Papa Bear. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. The woman that actually hooked up with a dolphin. All right, let's watch.
So what happens when you give dolphins a bunch of hallucinogenic drugs? Well, let's find out. Well, this story starts with this guy, John Lilly. And John Lilly is about 49, Lilly, living in Maryland. And John Lilly is a neuroscientist in the 60s. And the dude is a really smart guy. But he has this obsession. He's convinced that dolphins have the mental capacity to talk, and he's determined to teach them to speak English. So in 1963,
the dolphin couldn't talk, but apparently his female co-worker. Never mind.
He gets to work
that's crazy,
on
bro.
this.
I'll give you a bunch
He
of
somehow convinces NASA to fund his research, and so using this funding from the government, John Lilly opens a dolphin research lab on the island of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, right on the coast. He calls it the Dolphinarium.
I think we should go
and
back to
inside
talking
this
about
lab,
orcas.
He's got 3 dolphins that he's working with, and he's trying everything he can to get them to talk like a human. He's analyzing their speech patterns, he's making sounds at the dolphins, and the dolphins will mimic these sounds back through their blowholes. And as interesting as that is, John Lilly isn't really making the progress that he wishes he was making. And that is when he gets an insane idea. See, John Lilly, he's kind of a hippie, and he's been known to experiment with LSD. Sometimes for science, sometimes, just for fun. But whatever, it's the 60s, and LSD is still legal for scientific research during this time. So John Lilly starts thinking, why don't I just give some of this acid to the dolphins? Maybe it'll help them talk more. Because, LSD has been known to make some people chatty when they take it. So he starts injecting doses of acid into 2 of the female dolphins he has regularly. And then he monitors their behavior.
I can't believe this girl ate
and
acid
I'm sure these dolphins
dolphin.
are over here tripping balls and whatnot, having a great time. But here's the thing though. Pretty quickly, the dolphins actually do start communicating more. In fact, they become 70% more vocal. They're super talkative when they're tripping. They're making noises out of their blowholes and whatnot for hours. But what the LSD doesn't do is it doesn't help them speak English better. All the squeaks and noises the dolphins are making, they're all...
So he ate a bunch of acid and convinced himself that dolphins could speak English if just you gave them enough time, or a woman.
Still nonsense to us.
Until...
This story gets way crazier than this. So it's now 1964, and John Lilly is still running the Dolphinarium. He's still trying to get these dolphins to talk by giving them hallucinogenics and stuff. And that is when this woman enters the story, Margaret. Margaret's 23, and she lives on St. Thomas, so she's just kind of a local hippie herself. And one day, Margaret hears that this neuroscientist has this lab on the island where he's trying to communicate with dolphins. And Margaret's like, well, I want to be involved in that, even though she has 0 scientific training and no credentials.
You got to figure a way to get them money first. You got to work the way the governments work. You figure out an economy, a way to get your citizens to make something worth something, money, and then you get it back from them by selling them things like that. Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was. The date rape drug for dolphins. Dun, dun, dun.
In doing animal research. But whatever, she still wants to be involved. So she drives up to the lab, and she kind of just shows up unannounced. And she talks to the lab director, not John Lilly. The other researchers work at the Dolphinarium too. So she asks this lab director, hey, can I check out the dolphins? And the lab director's like, all right. And he lets her in. So from here, Margaret starts hanging around the Dolphinarium more and more. She starts volunteering and helping out.
Bank.
And of course, she eventually meets John Lilly. And right away, she's on board with everything he's trying to do. All his research, trying to get the dolphins to talk, and all that sounds great to her. And over time, as she's helping John Lilly with all his dolphin research, at some point, she grows pretty close to this dolphin, Peter. Remember how John Lilly was giving LSD to 2 of the female dolphins?
Talking to a dolphin.
Peter is the only male dolphin, and the only dolphin John Lilly isn't giving LSD to. So Margaret pitches John Lilly this idea.
No one will believe
She's
you
like,
tell
what
them
if
now.
I just live at the lab full-time with Peter? That way, John Lilly can focus on giving LSD to the other female dolphins, while she spends all her time working directly with Peter, trying to get him to speak English. And John loves this idea. He's all in. So in 1965, they get to work, and they convert a huge chunk of this lab into a place where both a human and a dolphin could live. So it's like this big
Research.
tank with 18 inches of
I
water
take
in
the
it.
checks
And you can
and
see
face
this
the
picture
facts.
here. Margaret is working
Yeah,
at
they
a
don't.
desk while Peter swims beneath her.
Chinese
So
and
from here,
Japanese.
Margaret and Peter are together basically 24/7. Like, she eats at the lab, she sleeps there, she works there, all while ankle deep in salt water right next to Peter. And every day, she's running these speech lessons with him. She's trying to get him to mimic human sounds, and she's repeating the same words over and over to him.
No,
like,
I wouldn't eat
hello,
whale.
and
No.
hello, Margaret.
Peter
And the
Games
crazy
Peter.
thing is, Peter actually starts making some progress. He starts making sounds that are kind of close.
Or they were both tripping.
Like, he's kind of starting to...
She would put the freaking syringe of acid in her mouth while she prepared it, and then she was... I think I heard him say that he was sexually frustrated. You eat your mom. Of course his name... Yeah, of course his name is Peter. He's actually lost a lot of weight, Ray William Johnson. Or are they still higher? That thing ain't still running. I think it went down in 94, I think they said.
Do it. And of course, she's documenting all of this, recording her progress for NASA.
Angle and
over
scale.
time, Peter grows
That's
very
so
fond
crazy.
of Margaret. Like, he loves being around her. He's always following her and nudging her because, he wants her attention. You know how pets can be. But here's where things get really weird. So, Peter is a young adolescent male dolphin. So, he's basically going through puberty. And the boy has,
needs.
Urges. And because he's isolated from the other dolphins and living in such close proximity with Margaret, he starts turning those urges toward her. He thinks she's kind of fine. And he's like always trying to rub up against her and whatnot. So every time Peter gets horny, Margaret has to stop.
Not a gator's cloaca. Yeah, more. Right. We're gonna have to up it to a couple 100 micrograms.
All the language
No,
lessons
I don't want to
to
sex a gator's
transfer him
cloaca.
to the outside tanks where the other two female dolphins are. That way, Peter can interact, with the girls and take care of business, I guess.
Seduction.
The problem Margaret has with all this
Peter needs
is
to buy
that
a
this
red pill, of
occurs
course. Yeah, he needs some MGTOW.
Peter is always having these romantic urges, so every speech lesson she gives him is interrupted, and she has to, transfer him from tank to tank, and it's this whole tedious process. So Margaret eventually makes a decision. She decides that instead of stopping everything and moving Peter every single time, she's just gonna
cloaca
help him
double the
take
acid,
care
give
of
it
his
to the next
urges.
dolphin.
By hand. And by the way, this isn't some big
110
rumor.
right there.
She actually
right there,
documents all
right
of this,
there.
and she writes it into her research
10
notes.
to 20,
Like, she officially reports it as part of the experiment. And there are other researchers working at the lab who notice all this going on too. And so this hanky-panky goes on the whole time she's there with him. But then, in 1966, it all comes crashing down. Because it becomes apparent that John Lilly is never going to get these dolphins to speak English, no matter how much LSD he gives them. And ultimately, his experiment is deemed a failure, and he officially loses all his funding, and the lab is forced to shut down. So, after all that, John Lilly leaves St. Thomas, and he moves the 3 dolphins to his other facility in Miami, Florida. And Margaret, she doesn't go with them. She stays in St. Thomas, where she's always lived. Now, at this new lab, poor Peter, he's confined to this concrete tank in the basement of this building. And there's no sunlight,
Shake weight.
and it's small,
I can
and
fix
it's
her,
cramped,
bro.
and he's alone there all the time because he has to be separate from the female dolphins. And he no longer has his teacher and best friend, Margaret, who he was likely in love with. And pretty quickly, poor Peter, he gets depressed. And dolphins do have the mental capacity to get depressed. And eventually, he gets so sad that he swims to the bottom of the pool, and he holds his breath, and he unalives himself.
Unalives. That's so crazy that Vision's lysergic comes into the stream, and then somehow it ends up going to talking about lysergic acid diethylamide. What's wrong with a monogamous relationship? Turned out, and then they turned it into SeaWorld. That's why they always hire women. I would never even fathom shucking a dolphin's court. Yeah, no, right. Thoughts on the Fauci conspiracy? It's freaking. It pisses me off so much. It pissed me off so much. Plead the fifth over 100 times. Yeah, it was over 100 times. Yep. Yeah. What's the color? What the kind of tie you're wearing? What color tie you wearing? I'm pleading the fifth. This reminds me, you need another Haight-Ashbury clinic. Yeah, listen, there's one running, guaranteed. Listen, it's even more. It's even more expanded than ever. Look at like you can if in California, Los Angeles, if you're homeless, you can go to the homeless clinics, homeless centers, and you can get an address. You can sign up for your government dole. And then like there's just drugs all around. So you can just do whatever you want to do. So they have little party centers. Where's Dr. Felcher during all this? That's really sad. That's really sad. It's not weird for science. It's not weird for science. Rip Peter, the only dolphin to score. Yep, last one to go down with that. The worst thing about the tour is 100 times he asked one of the questions. He asked to cooperate. He said, I plead the fifth. Yeah, he's freaking. Listen, you have to take your own health into your hands. If you have a group of friends, find the one that's most medically minded. And somebody do the gardening, somebody do the medical work as best as they can for your diet. Make sure everybody, if they have any issues, you look up to make sure if there's any vitamin or mineral deficiencies that could be possible. You correct all that stuff. Stay out of that freaking system until you absolutely have to. Until you have to. It pisses me off. It pisses me off the way our medical system is, like how it seems like they just want people to get sick with what we eat and how we don't talk about vitamins and mineral deficiencies at all. You don't get vitamin and mineral deficiency tests from doctors at all. If you ask for them, they'll say, oh, you look fine. It's absolutely crazy. People get sick and then they get cancers and stuff because their body can't heal themselves very often. And then they any money that you've got in the bank, they'll drain on chemotherapy till you're dead and broke, and then they move on to the next patient. Saying homeless is no longer PC. Oh, sorry. Unhoused. We need more funding for dolphin hookers. I think she was a volunteer. I did a lot of research about MK Ultra related by operations of the FBI, and oh my god, I go down rabbit hole. 100% go down. Yeah, it's a deep one. It was the CIA, I believe, but it was a deep one. I'm sure the FBI had something to do with it. Just imagine what a shrimp on a treadmill is. A shrimp on a treadmill? Yeah. She said she got to live there and eat there, but they said she was a volunteer. She just walked up and said, I thought she was a scientist. I guess you can consider her a scientist, but she was a volunteer. She walked up and said, can I play with the dolphins? And they were like, you would eat some acid? And she was already a hippie, so they were probably in the same circles. She did it for the box? She did it for free. Shrimp on a treadmill. Yeah, CIA. Yeah. Shrimp on a treadmill. No freaking way, dude. There's also experiments with LSD on an elephant. Dude, I've seen it with snakes. Not snakes. I've seen it with spiders, where they give spiders a bunch of different drugs and then they see how they make their webs differently. I did not know she did it for free. What a hoe. Hey, if they're really attracted to you, it won't cost you anything. Yep, the spiders one. Yeah.
He pulled the bearings out of a skateboard and wrapped an old tube around them, then added a motor and put it in the fish tank. Next, he injected a shrimp with bacteria and let it run.
Dude, of course they do. Where do you think all of these hundreds of billions of dollars are going? And they're going to all kind of wackadoo. And you have a bunch of super old politicians that have billions of dollars that want to live forever. So they want to find a good, it's the fountain of youth freaking story. What up, Georgie? I'm here to support your channel, make it interesting and funny comments. He's single now. Yeah, you should stay single, brother.
And on the tiny treadmill before measuring the bacteria again. This showed how much bacteria stayed inside the shrimp and how many germs people might eat when it was served. But when people saw the experiment, they were outraged, saying millions had been spent on shrimp fitness, even though the scientist paid for it himself, and it only cost $50.
Nice. Yeah, black projects. Yeah. Dark money projects. Because they're hidden from light. Georgie, how are you single? How do you feel about dolphins? Yeah, you want to hook up with a dolphin? It makes me real pissed. It gets me real pissed. Dolphin makes me want to say. It gets me real pissed. Dolphin makes me want to say. Rocking the suburbs. Just remember when our government gave $356,000 grant to study Japanese quail to see if they were more promiscuous on cocaine. Yeah, dude, it's freaking so nuts with our government. He loves dolphins. Yeah, why would you trust the government? And it's like these people that are super super, and I think the whole game is to make Democrats or to make Democratic voters hate Trump so that they love the Democrats. So like to trick them to be like, no, like, do you trust them? You trust the Democrats? You trust the Democrats? Well, I don't trust Trump. So you have to trust one of them? You've got to trust one of these parties? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I think it's all a freaking racket. Homeless are always yes, absolutely. They're the target. Absolutely. Because if they die, they're just incinerated. Like, let me see. From what I remember, they burn those bodies. They don't even bury them. Homeless body burning death. No, not the violence. What do you call it? Cremation. Cremation. She should have bought Peter a cell phone for long distance relationship, deep distance relationship. Yeah, right. But anything that's done, like if you have some wackadoodle guy like apparently Fauci was, a mad scientist just experimenting on the freaking population for money and power, y'all don't know what it's like being male, middle class, and white. Listen soon with robot dogs. They'll roam the streets taking out homeless. There was no cell phones in 1966. Shrimp are the ocean's cockroaches. Nobody will ever know. Nobody will even know. Wake up and he gone. Yeah, so when a homeless person dies without family or funds, local authorities have what's called an indigent cremation. Nobody cares. Right, so imagine having a bunch of wackadoo scientists. Do you think that with less insane asylums, do you think we have more or less insane scientists out and about? Or people, so if they know that, hey, this guy here doesn't look like he's doing too good, and we want to see if we make this new drug, or if we change fentanyl into super methafentanyl, how it works, and then you give them the drugs for free through their dealer or whatever. And then when they go in, because listen, they've got areas for the homeless to go in to get haircuts and bathe and whatnot and get their blood tests. So they just say, okay, these 5 people, when they come in, give them these shots and test their blood. And they could be doing all of this research on the homeless. And if they die, you burn the body and the evidence is gone. Lord have mercy, right? It's no idea who it is. Burn the witch. So original Bumquist deterred. It is interesting. Yeah, absolutely, they're in on it. They're all in on it. Listen, the government wouldn't have changed the laws to make drug use legal if they weren't making money off of it. And the cartels are making money off of it. Wolves don't go to the big, strong elk. No, they go for the weak ones. Right. It's the same thing in nature. This is why they want people to act vulnerable. This is why you always hear like you don't hear people talking about men being stoic. They say, be vulnerable. Tell us what hurts you, so we know what buttons to press. They had a cell phone in 66 as well. Yes, they did. They had cell phones during the Vietnam War. They were actually used throughout, but they were localized. They had to set up the antennas as they moved through and whatnot. But right, not publicly available till the 80s. Because any technology that's available to the public, that's been military, the military has to have it for over 10 years before the first generation is released to the public. Deterred. They would also never believe the homeless saying things like that. Right, he's crazy. What do you mean some guy came into your tent in the middle of the night and injected you? You've been smoking that crazy meth again? They're not going to believe them. They're not going to take anything. They're insane, Oh, yeah, they're absolutely being experimented on. I saw a dealer kill 2 people using drugs, watch him on X Man overdose, telling his woman to die. What? I saw a dealer kill people using drugs. 2 people watching him on X. Man overdosed, and he's telling his woman to die. Go ahead and sleep. Your man is gone. Jeez. I worked at a cemetery before, and it took 2 hours or so to burn one body, even before I thought I could make a huge oven or multiple bodies, alive or dead. Told my wife if I die, tell them I'm homeless. The cost of funerals are outrageous. God, break the guy in the backboard on a basketball goal and shit. Showing in the front of these little girls, they had me. And hell yeah, Maine. That's the streets in general. Been this for 40 years. One main reason why the homeless outreach programs don't work is because they're all being paid $120,000 to $200,000 a year to run the homeless center. Right. If you turned homeless outreach into volunteer only, it would all go away. Right. It's just like feminism or any other ism or whatever. If you start a nonprofit just means the company doesn't make profit, but the people working for it do make money. So if the company doesn't make money and you're making a lot of money, why do you want it to stop? Like the thing is, when these NGOs are started for a problem, they should say what they're going to do and where their cutoff is. Okay, when we get to this point, we're going to dissolve the company. But no, they're going to do it to get as rich as they can. Snickerdoodles, cook a turn on me. And now I'm one in their homes, literally ethnic cleansing. Yep, using fent. What do you think about Dr. Fauci taking the Fifth Amendment on the color of his tie? Yes, dude, it's insane. He's obviously guilty as all hell. And listen, I don't know if you have a minute, look up his diary, his personal diary, where it talks about how COVID wasn't as deadly as he was saying it was. And like he talked it up on the news and everything because he got rich. He got rich. Bury me in a sheet. They say here in Portland, Oregon, it's one of the #1 test cities for homeless experience with homeless. Nothing's wrong with kids pushing boundaries, adults keeping boundaries. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. But they say tell us not to keep. Like, no, they've got to overwhelm you and let the kid completely. No, it's not the way it works. They're getting paid to get this off the streets. Dude, they have rehabs in other states that have contracts to send homeless drug addicts to California. Because it's easy. You only got to get the drugs from Mexico, from the south border into California to sell it. And then the people will always have money because they're getting it from the government. I need to work on how I spell my sentences. I'm starting to realize the shit I write isn't what I'm trying to convey. You just figured that out, B2B. Pharma and drug dealers in cahoots. Absolutely. Yeah, drug dealers. Absolutely. They do things called hot shots. Like instead of cutting the fentanyl before giving it out to people, they'll just give you a higher dose in what's normally, and then people do it and then they die overdose. Can you plead the Fifth on fashion choices? He did. Opium, my boy. I don't even get under the underground biological warfare. I never did either. Listen, he looked free. He like when Disney made a movie about him being like the best doctor ever that saved the world. I knew it was bullshit. That's when I was like, okay, never mind. I thought Fauci wasn't allowed to use the Fifth because of pardon. No. He only can use on the pardon. This was about something that was found after the Biden administration. This was after the Biden administration. So his pardon only goes up to the day that Biden leaves office. This was something that happened after that. If any that comes to our streets, Chinese labs and Mexican cartels, China's silent war in the U.S. to bring us down. That's exactly right. That's right. Oh, I'm not forgetting Big Pharma. Absolutely not. Right. And they knew that. They knew that, Dean. He knew that. But he wanted to get ultra rich. He was about to retire. And he wanted to get freaking wealthy. And he did. Go pee up a rope. Yeah, I never wore the mask. Why did we play Change Your Channel to conspiracies for real? Sounds like after Fauci, Rod Black, just took a taxpayer money to self-enrich, not a geo-profit COVID. Sounds like that's what it sounds like. Yep, yes, TW, brother. He was a bad man. I knew COVID was fake the day they announced it came up from the bat suit. It's such bullshit. And when they said that it was a lab leak, and then the whole entire government structure and media said, no, 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 no. And then if you said anything about it, you got banned off of social media and canceled. That's what really finally pushed me away from Democrats. When the Democrats pro free speech until like 2016, they were pro free speech, but after that they were absolutely anti free speech. Here in the Netherlands, they injected people with underdeveloped Russian vaccines during COVID. Jesus Chrysler. You got banned? Yeah. It's absolute insanity. It's absolute insanity what's gotten to, right? Yeah, two sides of the same coin. I think the only thing is the big problem is they researched racism and they see how people can be biased, and Republican, Democrat, the underlying structure pushed it so people are like, oh my god, you're a conservative, oh, you're a freaking horrible, like it's turned into another like racism 2.0. Like people are so anti, like the way that you hear them talk about like white supremacists and black supremacists, like they have, like that's the way now you have like liberals and conservatives like talking about each other, like it's like, but people can change sides. That's where it's different. Fauci is the bad guy who blamed AIDS is gay. Yeah, right. I am too, brother. My favorite song, one of my favorite songs is Roadhouse Blues by The Doors. Chris. U.S. had Pfizer sponsors, crazy. Yeah, yes, CNN. Yeah, sponsored by Pfizer. And same with the freaking comedy shows. Push Off Media was that stupid. I had to get COVID shots, go back to school in 2021. I have a virtual. I had to do virtual. A Sackler family-owned Purdue pharmacy. And OxyContin is paying $7.5 billion lawsuits right now, and Sackler family's open lawsuits. Good. A reporter today asked Fauci about being invoking a 1917 estimated pandemic, and he would not answer. The dogs of Capitol will howl at each other till the sun explodes. What happens? People who were left on oxygen longer and bigger part of the COVID. The people that were left on the respirators, yeah, and then given remdesivir. Dr. Fauci went to nightclubs with, sure, dude. The new vaccine was invented because no one wanted to drink bleach and be zapped. Dude, he changes advice every week. Dude, he said put 3 masks on. He was telling people to put 3 masks on. I don't talk about plexiglass, stay inside. Yeah. And I guarantee he had freaking stock in the mask companies and 95 mask companies and whatnot, forcing them to be sold by the billions. A new mask makes that smell a fart through. You can smell a fart through a mask. Right. What up, Tara? Yeah, me neither. Me freaking neither. Neither did my parents. Neither. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I said, do not. Well, we won't go there, but yes. Yeah. No, listen, you can't tell me to trust the science when I am science. Science is repeatable, and we haven't had time to repeat these things to see if it works. So it's lies. If anybody tells you that something is true or not true because of the science, and it hasn't been repeated or it can't be repeated, like history, people try to say things in history aren't true or are true because of science. Science can't prove that. History is the way you work through that. Science has to be repeatable. Same news telling you injection rates caused by Pfizer. That's right. How's that legal? Because of what happened in 2008. There was a law that was changed allowing regulations that were changed because you weren't allowed to advertise pharmaceuticals. After that, you were. Dr. Fauci is Rod Blagojevich, former governor of Illinois, name change. COVID shots kill people. That's a crime. Yeah. COVID went around when it graduated high school 2023. Yo, funny. M95. No, it's a dust mask. Right, because it raised the amount of carbon dioxide you breathed in. It raised your carbon dioxide levels. Brother, you're not the only one. Girls got more periods due to COVID vaccines, even that stuff. Did you get your shot? No. Bro, It was crazy. People that got defended and then I said, yeah, special kind of stupid to blindly go on with him. And a politicians at that. No one trusted our government. Then our government said, this is the only way you can do it. You're going to kill. Like with the emotional manipulation, when they start telling you, you're going to kill your grandparents. Shut up. They're such liars. They don't care. They're the ones that send people to war. I think there's old pandemics. Well, brother, if you look into things like that, I'm going to get myself canceled. If you look into things like that and you look into like when measles was on its way out and then the vaccine came in, and then when polio was on its way out, then the vaccine came in. And then, but then when the media, they'll say, oh, the reason that polio went away was because of the vaccine. The reason measles went away is the vaccine. Then why is measles back? Because it's cyclical. But if you know this, if you have a CIA that studies everyone's history around the world, you know what the cycles are. And if you want to profit off of that, you know when these cycles are going to come up. So then you say, okay, and they last about this long. So at the end of that cycle, you come up with a product. You start giving it to people. Less people have it now. Less people today. Oh, the more higher the vaccines go, less people get it. No, because it's on its way out. Herd immunity's coming in. No, it's not. It's not the way the human body works. It's not the way biology works. And they try to tell us something different. And they didn't let doctors, if it was truly that evil and truly that bad, doctors should be allowed to do whatever they need to try to cure it and fix it. But instead, they said, this is the only thing you can use. This is the protocol that you can use, and that's it. If you use anything other than this, if you use ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, you're losing your license. That's crazy. People are even more gullible than they used to air injection. Yup. We already voted blue no matter who level. This silly bastard got hook, line, and sinker. Yep. I remember cashiers would stand behind a skinny plexiglass wall. Yep. Yeah, that was in 2020. All the rideshare drivers, the saran wrap tape separating the front and the rear. Yep. Spanish flu started in America during World War I. Yup. They didn't close down the borders, but locked civilians down. And they partied themselves. Tara said, I ignored it. I'm not part of the government, rival. I just left the movie industry January 2025 and started streaming. To the vaccination from Spanish the Spanish flu. Measles are also back because people are paranoid about the vaccine because of Dr. Fauci. Yeah. No, I'm not a goy. People, I don't think so. What's a goy? Is a goy Jewish? I'm not Jewish, if that's what you're asking. People need to also remember that the rhinovirus and coronavirus are the two most common cold types. You look as you can protect against the rhinovirus and COVID, right? They're single-stranded RNA viruses that use the same pathway to move its genetic material from the virus into cells. The same pathway. You use zinc ionophores and zinc. I wanted liquid drops in my mouth. Shots hurt. Maybe pineapple flavor. Sherry. Indians are pretty cool. Whatever. What have you ever seen the old vaccination machine, the Arrow? Yes. Absolutely. Eczema, psoriasis, all seasonal. I'm just confused with measles. John Goldbody. Thanks for the super chat, John. He says they need to carve statues out of gold to celebrate this legend. W's in the chat. Bam. John Goldbody. Thank you, brother. Thank you, John. I look smarter. I'm smarter than I look. People are telling me that most poor me to taste anything and couldn't do anything because their nose stuff. Now, it's so crazy, dude. And listen, the fear, you can have things, a placebo effect. And by telling people what the symptoms are, then they're like if you're super anxious and whatnot, then you're like, oh, I don't think I can. Pisses me off. What's up, Robert? W. John. Thank you, brother. Glory to capitalism. It's evil, the problem. Right. Guys, damn, how do you read so fast? Best episode. There you go. W's John Goldbody. W's on John Goldbody. So it was it used a very fine pulse to push it through the skin. I'll show you. Did I get lost? Uh-oh. No, I'm still here. I think. I think I'm still here. You guys still see me? Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. Hit the like button. Help a brother out. All right, let's see. Okay. Air vaccine injection. There you go. This is what they look like. They look like guns like this, and they push us. Modest, I just left the movie industry January 2025, and I stream, do YouTube full time now. I also, to supplement my income, I went around to all my neighbors when I left the movie industry, and I said, anything that you would pay anyone else for, let me give you a quote. So any like kind of handyman stuff needs to get done around my community. I do that. We good. B2B. Where'd that guy go? Air in the bloodstream. People were deceived back then too. They said hospitals were overcrowded. Trump said Navy hospital ships from New York and LA both were completely empty. And listen, I was in a movie called Brooklyn Brothers Beat the Best, but I was a prop maker. I built props and sets. Yeah, did it for a long time. But Papa Bear, when all the TikTok videos that came out of nurses, like 12, 14, 20 nurses all dancing in rhythm and step and whatnot. And so they had enough time to do that during COVID. They had enough time, and like the hospitals looked empty to me. No, they just routed a bunch of the ambulances to only a few hospitals. So it was whack-a-do. And then they paid everybody a lot, so they'd be quiet about it. I'm going to get myself fired. All right, let's see. But yeah, this stuff here is really, it uses a burst of air to push the liquid through the skin. Everyone I know in the medicine industry said the hospitals are completely empty. Yeah, listen. And like I said, the TikToks, you could see all of the freaking TikToks of all the nurses. You look familiar, and I know too much. You know too much. Yeah. They're called jet guns. What do you think did really COVID? Yes, I absolutely do. So listen, way back when that started, there was a let me see if I can find it. Hold on. It's probably scrubbed. Okay, so check this out, okay? So in 2019, there was a military Olympics. So like the Olympics, but for militaries from all over the world. Guess where that military Olympics was in 2019. Take a guess. Anyone? Someone take a guess. Closed word show. Maybe. People used to light up back then. I don't know. I mean, they get a lot of money, that's for sure. So it was in Wuhan, okay? So the military Olympics was in Wuhan, China on October 28th to the 27th, okay? Yes. So you had the military there when the lab leak happened. So the militaries from people all over the world, so now you have people going back to their host countries. The United States military that was there for it, they came back to the United States, and then the Chinese military had their Chinese, stayed in China, the Japanese, the Russian. So they have a leak there to all those military people that go all around, and then they bring that all over the world. It's brilliant. America only has 2 medical ships, the USS Mercy and the USS Comfort. No. That's only when I'm on my phone, Georgie. So there you go. The hospital has 2 people with COVID and 2 more a day later. Media 100%. Yes, absolutely. They said dolphin eggs. What are your thoughts about the great country of Israel? They get a lot of money, that's for sure, and they seem to be pretty good at stopping missiles. But I don't really know a lot about Israel, brother. I'm not Jewish. Can you? No, I can't do the. I can't even think about what it is right now. My brain's all mad. COVID was a scamdemic, and it was put on by elites who went lockdown so they could use COVID population control. They wanted to be able to. Well, there is the spike protein is a thing. Absolutely, we know that the spike protein that's on COVID-19 is a thing. We have electron microscope scans of that thing. But what was that they didn't count any of the flu illnesses as flu. They counted that like 0 flu during 2020. Nobody died or got sick of the flu during 2020. They counted all of them as COVID-19. But COVID-19 is that coronavirus is actually a thing, but not as many people got it as they said got it. How would they know? So if people had the flu or flu-like symptoms, it got counted as COVID. Did not require masks for migrants. No, or vaccines for migrants. All those 25 million migrants didn't get masks or vaccines. The influenza influencer. Yeah, it's absolutely wackadoodle, man. It's absolutely wackadoodle. But most people don't even know about this. And it was the 7th, took place October 18th to 27th, 2019 in Wuhan, China. 9,300 athletes from 140 nations. So the people get that, and then they hope that back to their host countries, spreading that which was leaked. I can smell the latkes. All the influencers did it. Yeah. Notice that there was no COVID outbreak in sub-Saharan Africa, not one single mask, right? And I got vaccinated, and they didn't. Yeah, that was everyone that was put on an event when they needed to die every time. Yep. I'm just saying, like, we know how, like, we're still working on it. We still like that. So there's a like bromelain in spike protein. We know that it dissolves it. And we know that the spike protein is also caused by the vaccine. I think COVID was shot was to lower up IQ people. And it looks like it might have. It called COVID-19 because patient 0 got it at the end of 2019. Did not factor in homeless shelters. No, they didn't care. Oh, them. Yeah, they absolutely faked getting vaxxed. Listen, and in the movie industry, people would get it. They would stab it through your shirt. Instead of sticking it into your arm, they'd lift up your shirt, stab the needle through, and squirt it out the backside. Right, and listen, why didn't they have digital COVID passports? Why was it a piece of paper that you had carried around? In 2019, 2020, 2021, they could have absolutely had it on your phone, digital. But they gave you a card that you could carry around. Why do you think that is? So the people that didn't actually get it could just fake the card. And also just like the votes in the elections, there's no barcode on the votes of the votes to show that they're real. And the ones that were on the ones that were for the vaccine weren't barcoded either. It's been a while since I was high school. COVID didn't allow anyone in schools. Now, sure, Americanos had online classes, played Minecraft, peak education. It's about how it was handled here. If you got vaccinated, you need a passport. Yeah, I'm talking about not the passport, but the vaccine card that just said what booster, where you got it, and whatnot. My buddies forged. Yeah, a lot of people did. Thousands and thousands of people in Georgia did. Yep, 3 years. Yeah, right. But I mean, but still, why didn't it go into a digital database? So if you got a shot, they could be like, okay, what's your name and address and whatnot, and we'll put in here that you got it. So if you go somewhere and you don't have the paperwork, you say, my name is this and this is my phone number, social security number. Yeah, they just didn't do that. That's odd. Remember, nobody wanted a huge digital database. Now, this could be right too. Some places gave away free burgers and fries. That's right. Yes, they still are. I can't believe it. I can't believe, especially like if people still get it after like today, like after like what they've heard from Fauci today. Yeah, I stayed at home. Yeah, and then you see, it pissed me off so much. Yeah, and you got so many kids that got screwed up from this. We're all. And Florida is the only state that really stayed unrestricted. Homeless people do not have an address, nor do migrants. Right. So the homeless people, like in California, they do have an address. They go to one of the homeless shelters or the homeless outreach centers, and they can get mail there. Here, I'll show you. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand how homeless people get government cash because they're like they need an address. They have addresses. They don't have a house. That's why they call them unhoused, because they have an address. They just don't have the building itself. Okay. People who are unhoused can get mail using general delivery, local shelters, and community organizations. Yet many people are still getting them. Yeah, I'm still going to parties or something. So we secret warehouse parties in LA. Yep, no school 3 years. How can we do mass global population control? Damn. And you won't see results till they're full grown. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Sounds like Hollywood homeless are completely different from real homelessness. It is. It's Hollywood homelessness, right? That's the thing. It's like, and so like the whole thing that just happened with the election issue in last month or the month before, where they had 40,000 votes come in from mail, and they were all for like the Democrats, and there's 43,000 homeless people. So they're like, well, how do all these homeless people vote? Well, how can they get their mail-in ballot if they don't have mail? How do they get? Homeless people are taking money from the government. No, they don't. They need addresses to do that. Okay, this is how they do it. Get the vaccines, protect your grandparents from dying. Same as for governments and healthcare. So yes, that's exactly right. That's how I felt about it. Right? It's emotional manipulation. When they don't care about you, they'll put you in front of a bullet. They'll put you to war. I know some people bet they're their 8th booster. Jesus. Why does government want mass depopulation? Probably because, but I don't think they want mass depopulation, so to speak. But what they want is, at least, or what they used that 6-foot distance social distancing thing to be able to use election drop boxes. And then obviously they got stuffed. So AI drive to the city and homeless people will set up tents, people on the tables, there's free phones. Right. Yeah, they give them free phones. They don't do this for fun now. You find out. Yeah, you gotta look. You gotta look if you want to find. Don't listen to the news. Just read the laws, read the patents. There's a lot of reasons why mass population to pass away. They want to replace a lot of people in America. It's one of the big things. Speed cancer, super turbo cancers. Yeah, turbo cancers. My neighbor died of turbo cancer. My parents' best friend died of turbo cancer. During the Black Death, the richest moved to other countries to manage. Yep. What's up with all? Population reduction. As soon as they recover, they ramped up the wars again. Yeah, right. You don't have any massive wars to kill off millions of people. Okay. All right, let's see. You couldn't take one breath after the alleged pandemic because they worked. Yeah, interesting stuff. That's right, and that's a big thing. No reproduction, right? And the whole feminism thing and the MGTOW thing is pushing women to hate men and men to hate women. A lot of women are realizing they're all. Yep, that's crazy shit too. Angela got that vaccine and got paid $50. I want a new drug. The nonprofit services of real homeless people that live in a hot car. Yep. They don't care. Yep. Have kids, people. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I love y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody, keep it in your pants. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, stay strong, everybody.